98.1 Gameday is on. Presented by your local Super Chevy dealers and Yingling Flight. This is LSU football.
Empty backfield, 5 wide. Nussmeier looking to throw towards the end zone, going up, bringing it down. Barry on Brown. Touchdown, Fighting Tigers. Nussmeier drops back, forced out of the pocket, moving to his left, looking downfield, throws back in the end zone. Caught by Xavion Thomas. Touchdown, Fighting Tigers.
LSU football on Eagle 98.1, the flagship home of the Tigers. Today, from Vaught Hemingway Stadium in Oxford, it's the LSU Tigers and the Ole Miss Rebels. Now, here's Charles Hanagriff and Matt Musso.
Welcome to 98.1 Game Day. Local Super Chevy dealers and Yingling Flight. Good morning, everybody. Charles Hanagriff along with Matt Musso and our entire staff here at the flagship as we get you ready for the kickoff of this afternoon's game between the LSU Tigers and the Ole Miss Rebels. The Tigers enter today's game with a record of 4-0. 1-0 in the Southeastern Conference, ranked 4th in the nation by both the writers and the coaches. Last week, LSU beat Southeastern 56-10 in Baton Rouge. It's been a good September to this point for the Tigers, who took their much sought-after opener at Clemson, then picked Florida quarterback DJ Lagway 5 times, and took care of their business against the 2 state schools. Now the challenge is going to Oxford for their first SEC road game. Garrett Nussmeier appeared completely healthy last Saturday after fighting a torso injury for several weeks. The senior quarterback crucial to LSU's success today, as the Tiger running game has not yet found its footing. However, this game is a chance to balance up the Tigers' attack, as the Rebels are last in the conference in rush defense. No questions about the LSU defense. The Tigers have not allowed over 10 points in any of their 4 games. Sticky coverage in the secondary, complemented by a strong pass rush, and LSU's depth has been advantageous in the fourth quarter. That depth begins to get tested today, as LSU will be without defensive end Gabe Relaford for the rest of the season. Ole Miss also comes in at 4-0. They are 2-0 in SEC play and ranked 11th in the nation by the coaches, 13th by the AP. Last week, the Rebels blasted Tulane 45-10. Lane Kiffin's team in 2025 doesn't come in with as many expectations as they did a year ago, but it does not make them any less dangerous. The usual potent offense has already gone through a quarterback change, which appears to be an upgrade. The defense had their problems with Taylon Green in Arkansas, but clamped down on a good Tulane team a week ago. They'll see the best personnel on the other side so far this season with LSU in town today. The resumes are unblemished for these two teams, questioned only by the losses of the teams that they've beaten. Both Ole Miss and LSU have realistic playoff aspirations, and the winner today will take a big step in that direction. Musso, Lane Kiffin, the most popular Rebel in Oxford since Luke Skywalker, I think. He spent some time this week painting his team as the underdog, even though they're a slight favorite today. I don't know exactly what we're going to get from them, but with Lane Kiffin, it's never boring.
No, it's not. You know, it's interesting. He's kind of broken some tendencies this year a little bit as well. And he's not going for it as much on 4th down, playing it a little bit more reserved. I'll see if that changes today. That's something I'm interested in for sure with the Rebels. But you know, nationally, it feels like the narrative with this game is LSU's defense and Ole Miss's offense. Locally, I think it's LSU's offense versus the Ole Miss defense. And the injury to Caden Durham really complicates things in my eyes. That's your proven SEC guy. Thamel has the report Friday evening that he's doubtful. Yes, Ole Miss is dead last against rushing, in rushing defense, but I've seen this team struggle to run the ball against everybody they've played, including Louisiana Tech. So, on the road, that makes me a little uneasy in this matchup for LSU.
It is a case of the strengths of these teams matching up, but also the weaknesses of these teams matching up, too. This is going to be a great day of college football. There are ranked matchups all over the place. It'll get your mind off the golf if you've been watching that this morning, because that hasn't gone all that well. We're happy to be here, and we're glad that you're with us. From Rouse's, Burbank and Lee, Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, Our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit louisianapropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $22,500 off MSRP on the brand new 2025 Ram 1500 Laramie with $22,500 off MSRP with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
While Louisiana politics can seem like they're from another planet, Moon Griffon isn't afraid to bring politicians back down to earth. Listen to the Moon Griffon Show weekday mornings at 9 on Talk 107.3.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972.
Eagle 98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Skull Session. Offense. Presented by Gulf Coast Bank. Gulf Coast Bank, the bank that cares about you. Now from the LSU Sports Radio Network, here's Gordy Rush.
Our LaBerge Casino countdown to kickoff, a little under 5 hours right now. Let ESPN Bet at LaBerge be your game day headquarters. Whose job was it to tell Nick Saban that he had to dress like Colonel Sanders today?
Some producer at ESPN. Some poor producer at ESPN.
Coach, we need to have you fitted to look like Morgan Freeman and Bruce Almighty. Gordy, good morning. How are you?
Doing great. En route to the stadium. It's a beautiful day up here in North Mississippi.
All right, we're looking forward to a great ball game today. Let's start off with the LSU run game against what has been a very porous Ole Miss rush defense, 190 yards. LSU going to likely be without Caden Durham today, so let's talk about what LSU's options are in the run game.
Well, obviously, I think Juwan Johnson goes and starts the tailback. And then you're going to see them get the ball, as we've seen, to Thomas and Barry and Brown and Anderson in creative ways. And I'm going to also add, after watching that Arkansas film, I think they've got to have 3 or 4 designed runs for Garrett Nussmeier. Because this Ole Miss team it's a different personnel group than a year ago. They were elite on that side of the football. They lost a lot of people to the NFL. And I'm going to call it what it is. They've struggled for the most part this year against Arkansas and Kentucky. They struggled. Tulane's a one-dimensional football team. They're spread the run team with a fantastic athletic quarterback. And I thought they were really limited in what they could do offensively, and Ole Miss took advantage of that. But this is non-elite defense, and like you said, LSU's got to find a way to run the ball.
Gordy, I'm more interested in what Kentucky did against Ole Miss's rush defense than I am Arkansas, for the only reason that Talon Green, the quarterback at Arkansas, is an exceptional athlete. He is a great runner. I can't expect Garrett Nussmeier to do that. But Kentucky ran the ball for 172 yards and better than 4.5 yards a carry. A little bit more comparable to LSU's rush personnel, especially at quarterback. So what did the Wildcats do?
Well, no, the Wildcats just got physical with him. You saw some 12 personnel, and you had 2 tight ends, and you saw them pound away at it. Look, I think LSU is going to get even numbers in the box, right? And that's something that, is kind of foreign to Pete Golding. Pete Golding comes from the Nick Saban tree. He likes multiple fronts, multiple looks. He likes to bring a lot of pressure packages. They hadn't been able to do that this year, and they really didn't do it a whole lot against Kentucky because they don't have the people on the back end. And I think just because LSU is so talented in a receiving group, some of the stuff they did against Kentucky that didn't work, bringing some numbers up, is not going to come into play today. I think LSU is going to get some even fronts, and I think that for me that's the key on this side of the football. LSU has to run the football when they have correct numbers in the box, and they haven't always done that in the games that they should, minus last week against Southeastern. They weren't able to run with the numbers even in the box against Louisiana Tech, and really didn't do a great job against Florida.
And that's the scary thing. This is not a schematic problem, in my opinion. It's not that they have bad play calling, that they're running into, they're in a lot of bad football plays. What I've seen mostly, Gordy, is there's just been 1 or 2 missed assignments, or a guy just loses a one-on-one battle up front. I've seen way more of that than I've seen, oh, gosh, they're just trying to run into numbers here.
No, it's been a lack of execution. You're exactly right, and a lack of physicality. The Louisiana Tech game comes to mind, and look, I know the spot. It was after the emotion of Clemson, and Louisiana Tech was a little bit undersized as it was an unorthodox 3-3 looking, defensive front, but they weren't moving people. And I mean, these are 5-star, 4-star kids, and kids that you got out of the portal that played a lot of football. It's time for them to get ugly, nasty, and get after some people in the run game.
Gordy, you mentioned potential design runs from Garrett Nussmeier. What about Juwan Johnson? They showed that package in fall camp where he would line up at quarterback. I mean, he's obviously got plenty of experience at that position. Is that a route they could go there if they didn't want to do it with Nuss?
I think some short yardage, but look, I think Nussmeier. The reason to bring up Nussmeier, Musso, is that I think LSU goes 3 wides, or they flex Trudez Green out. There's no question Ole Miss is going to play too high. They're going to play coverage. They've shown a lot of coverage. And if they do so, they're not going to spy Nussmeier, right? And so the ability with Juwan Johnson to do some of these zone reads, or at least do some, misdirection off one of these jet sweeps or end arounds that we do to Xavier Thomas, if Nussmeier just keeps it 2 or 3 times just to keep them honest, big yards are capable. And then you mentioned Green from Arkansas. He had a nice day rushing the football. And in situations just like that, because Arkansas was so potent in the pass game, they had to play coverage, and there was no way to account for the quarterback in the run game.
Let's talk about Harlem Berry. I understand why his touches, his playing time has been limited. It's not unlike many freshman backs that struggle with the parts of the game that they weren't asked to do in high school, specifically in the pass blocking part of the game. But, Gordy, his explosiveness could really be an asset to them today if they can find a way to get him involved in the game plan, while also giving him something to do besides running the football, so that it's not a tip-off every time he comes into the game. I remember when Trenton Holiday used to come in the game for LSU on offense, and, there'd be whistles and sirens and bells and everything. You got to give him something else to do one portion of the game. So what might that be for Harlem Berry?
Well, you got to think if indeed Durham is not going to play, is going to be limited, at best, that Johnson's going to start. He'll take the line share of it. And then I think Berry goes into some of your fast packages, your spread packages, where you're going to, by design, you put a lot of receivers, you spread the football field, you're going to force Ole Miss in the coverage, and you're not going to be as concerned about his responsibility in pass protection. And that's one of the things that jumps out at you. And then the other thing is that if you create space by design, that's, I think, a good thing for Berry, who is explosive, right? He's not a guy I think you want on the football field when you go 1 running back, 2 tight ends, and you're going to try to run it inside. He doesn't have that sort of size, just a freshman, but he does play well in space. He is, he can scoot and he can get out there and he can catch the football and make things happen in space. So does he become like your third down or spread type of guy today?
And for Nussmeier, the one thing that I took out of last week's game is he is healthy, and it explains a lot of what we saw early in the season with some of the underthrows or some of the inaccurate passes. I thought, and it also explains why Brian Kelly was so forthcoming about it early in the week. He said, look, I think this is behind us. Like, well, we got to see. And when we saw, how confident are you in Nussmeier's health?
Yeah, I think that I'm very confident in his health after seeing him last week and his ability to stretch the football field. And you know, I think this is what a lot of people nationally are discounting Garrett Nussmeier. They're just looking at the statistics this year, and I think that Florida and Clemson have gotten off the bad starts and discounting that. Florida's still a very, very good defense. They're just dysfunctional on offense, but they're good defensively. You know, Garrett Nussmeier threw the ball around on Ole Miss last year, right, against a very much better defense than what Ole Miss is putting out there this year. Arkansas not only ran the football, they threw the football all over the place. They missed 2 field goals. They were driving for the go-ahead score down 6 inside of 2 minutes in that football game, and they fumbled on the 30-yard line. I'm looking for a big day out of Garrett Nussmeier today.
We'll take a break. We are here at Rouse's. They want to cover your game day spread. If you're cooking up for the game, come on over and get all your ingredients here. We're on the left-hand side of the grocery store, so you can come in here. You can get all your beer, your wine, your spirits. The bakery is open, the Chop House, the Mongolian Grill, the Chef's Collection. Lots of Louisiana seafood, hot-boiled seafood available for you here also at Rouse's, Burbank and Lee. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and First American Bank and Trust bring you the Heart of the Game Award, recognizing student athletes who deliver when it counts. Nominate your game day standout at 1045ESPN.com by the 21st. We'll choose 5 male and 5 female finalists, and then it's up to the fans to vote for the winners. Each winner gets a $250 gift card, a custom award, and the spotlight they've earned. Presented by First American Bank and Trust, a banking tradition since 1910.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
98.1. Eagle 98.1 game. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Skull Session. Defense. Presented by Edward Jones. Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Now from the LSU Sports Radio Network, here's Gordy Rush.
Rouse's, Burbank and Lee. Gordy, you've been watching Lane Kiffin's offenses for a long time at multiple stops. So before we get to the quarterbacks, what does this year's version look like? What's the same and what's different?
Well, I think what he was trying to do is a lot of the same of what he had with Jackson Dart with Simmons when he started the football year. And quite frankly, he struggled in the first half against Kentucky. He had 2 bad interceptions. I think he was struggling to deliver the ball with consistency from the pocket, and then finally they were able to hit some short stuff and get him moving a little bit as a runner before he was injured. And then enter Trinidad Chambliss in, and he's just changed the dimension, I think, of this offense tremendously, and that he's more of an athlete, and it seems like they're always going downhill with Chambliss back there, and I think he's been remarkably accurate. And that's what really jumps off at you is that, here's a guy that's a little bit undersized, moves really well. He's been able to drop a couple of dimes, some fade routes. Literally put him right in the bucket. And it's throwing the ball on the move with very good accuracy. So even if Simmons was 100%, based off the film I've seen, knowing how effective LSU's been defensively against like a guy like Lagway, right, that's trying to plant his feet and throw in the pocket, I would still start Chambliss over Simmons if he was healthy.
I would too. I think he's got much better touch on the ball than Simmons does. Simmons reminds me a great deal of Brandon Harris, which big arm, but everything's on the line, everything's coming out hot, and Chambliss has a great deal of touch. I think he's a better runner. I don't think Simmons is a bad runner, but I think Chambliss is a better runner, and he protects the football. In addition to those 2 turnovers that Simmons had against Kentucky, he had 2 against Georgia State. That was 4 interceptions in 5 quarters of play. So I'm 100% with you there, Gordy. And Trinidad Chambliss is an interesting story because they were not really recruiting him. They kind of fell backwards into him. They discovered him on Twitter. So he came in, and he's from Ferris State, but he played, Gordy, a lot of football at Ferris State. 25 games and 16 starts. They were the Division II national champions last year. And I just can't help but think that even though that's at a lower level, that experience has paid off for him in spades here to open his season.
Well, look, especially he's comfortable. He's played football, right? And Simmons is not. So I agree with you 100%. And he's done a lot of these zone read principles. So his decision-making, is more mature. And so he's seen it. He's more instinctive. Look, if, the lineman collapses on the running back, I'm going to pull the ball and I'm going to run. And so I think from that aspect, football's football. What I think is hard to translate, and there's a big question mark, is we know he hasn't faced a defense, the caliber of what LSU is going to put out there, and the speed that what LSU's put out there. Arkansas, as we saw last week, not elite on defense. I still don't know what to make of Tulane because Duke and Northwestern are average at best, and so certainly we wish Tulane the best, but I don't think they're in the top half of SEC conversation. So, what does that look like when Chambliss is trying to run this offense, knowing the athleticism of LSU's defense and just how aggressive Blake Baker's going to be?
All right, so we know about the speed. Let's talk about looks that Baker might show him that either LSU has not shown yet or that Chambliss has not seen before in the games that he's played this year.
Yeah, I don't think LSU shows much. You don't do anything different, truthfully. I think you've seen similar schemes and what Florida was trying to do to a degree, and what Clemson was going to do. You're going to be very aggressive and get and try to stop the run game. I think the matchup, the circle, is that Harold Perkins is going to is going to spy Chambliss, and he's going to be responsible just the way that he was against Klubnik. And Lagway really did not run much in that Florida game, and they even did it against Louisiana Tech to a degree to their quarterback. And I think that's what you're going to see. And then you want every once in a while to be able to throw a zone on the backside of that man so you don't get picked off. I think the key today for this game is to limit the explosive plays. LSU's a high-risk, high-reward defense. They're going to get after you. As you got to be sure tacklers like you've been all season and limit the busts.
You've been watching Lane Kiffin for a long time. How's he different as a coach now? And you can talk about some of the off-the-field stuff, too, if you want. I watched the documentary earlier this week, and I'm like, this is not the same guy that, we saw coaching at Tennessee 15 years ago. So, Gordy, we've sort of gotten to watch Lane Kiffin grow up as a coach and the way he calls the game and also the way he's handling that program. They almost convinced me the other night that he's going to stay there, okay? Not quite if Florida comes calling, but they almost convinced me.
The video from the daughter got you?
Right. So you tell me your wide-angle view of Lane Kiffin.
Yeah. Well, I think you see that part of him, and without getting in all the off-the-field stuff, I think the biggest thing is you saw his family. And so his why has changed a little bit, where it was 100% about him and football, and and less about maybe family and focused and stuff like that. I mean, now that the kids are there and they're part of the life, and they want to be a part of that Ole Miss campus. I think it's been a little bit of humbling, and everybody grows up and everybody matures. Even us, Charles. We've grown up since our days of walk-ons.
Well,
we're at Rouse's now. We're much more responsible.
The wine and cheese crowd. No, I agree with you 100%, Gordy. I think that his kids are older. His father has passed. It was a big part of his life. His brother is on his staff, lives right down the street. I agree with you 100%. I think that's the difference, and I think he's got one big move left in him. I think if Florida opens, I think he's got to look at that. I think if things, and not necessarily this year, but a year from now, if things don't work out for Kalen DeBoer at Alabama, that's where I would go, because Kiffin is, I think, more equipped to block out or not necessarily block out the noise, but he just doesn't give a flip what anybody else says. Sure. That it's less likely to affect him than another coach. So I think one more move in his future, but not necessarily this year or next.
Yeah, I don't know that it's this year. I mean, I think he has the luxury of being able to wait. I think the challenge that you're going to have at Ole Miss, I think it's more challenging for all the SEC teams. Now they're going to 9 games, but I mean, you're playing. You drew 2 blue bloods, in LSU and Oklahoma, and your permanent opponents in the 9 SEC. And I mean, he's overpunched Ole Miss. He's done a great job over at Ole Miss, and not to knock Ole Miss, because everybody's got the same $18 million to spend on football, except Kentucky, because they're going to spend more on basketball. But you have that opportunity there. I just think it may be easier to do it at a Florida and an Alabama, and you just wait your time till you get the perfect opportunity. Enjoy the ride in Oxford.
I think if the SEC had done it completely fairly, if I'm being honest, Oklahoma and Arkansas, they should have given LSU Oklahoma and given Ole Miss Arkansas. Yeah. I understand that creates some scheduling problems for the last week of the season, but that would have been, at least from a competitive standpoint, I think a little bit more fair. But since it hasn't been fair for LSU for the last 30 years, I'm just going to go ahead and take
Take the Hogs. Take the Hogs.
I mean, the morning show's complaining about not playing Alabama and Florida. You want to play Oklahoma. I'm happy to play Arkansas. Winning the 9 games in the SEC. And you get in Texas A&M, and Texas A&M and then Ole Miss, which, whoever one day passes Lane Kiffin, you can't imagine they're going to keep them at the same level. I'm happy to take those 3. How about we just take those 3 and not complain?
Don't misunderstand me. Just because I said it would be more fair did not mean that it's something that I wanted. I am fine with what happened on Tuesday.
In 4 years, it could change anyway.
Yes. So, I think that's a good move that they made to reevaluate this every 4 years. Gordy, have a great call and a safe trip back, and we'll talk. Well, take next week off, and then we'll be back for LSU in South Carolina in 2 weeks.
All right, guys. Have a great day. Thanks.
Gordy Rush down at en route to Oxford for today's game. We're brought to you by Supreme Rice and SupremeRice.com. You can pick up your Supreme Rice here at all of your area Rouses, the brown, the long grain, the medium grain, the jasmine, and the parboiled rice, restaurant quality rice with the parboiled. Also the low glycemic for diabetics especially. You get your Supreme Rice, you're going to get it at a great price, and you'll be supporting our Louisiana farmers. They've been growing, milling, and processing Supreme Rice down in southwest Louisiana since the 1930s. So support our Louisiana farmers. And Supreme Rice is also part of the Climate Smart program, which reduces methane emissions and promotes water conservation for future generations of Louisiana farmers. For more information and great recipes, go to the website at supremerice.com. From Rouse's, this is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
When it comes to pipe fabrication, time is money. And at River Parish Contractors, we make every second count. Our 36,000 square foot shop is ready to take on your projects right now. With experienced welders, precise fittings, and fast turnarounds you can trust. Whether it's a single custom spool or a full-scale run, we have the capacity and the skill to keep your job on schedule. Call us or visit rpcontractors.com for your quote. That's rpcontractors.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, They've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
While Louisiana politics can seem like they're from another planet, Moon Griffon isn't afraid to bring politicians back down to earth. Listen to the Moon Griffon Show weekday mornings at 9 on Talk 107.3.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Flight by Yingling. Raise the bar.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Builder School.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to DreamPoolLA.
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Orderlocks, presented by Supreme Rice. Supreme Rice, grown, milled, processed for generations right here in Louisiana. And we're at the Odd House every Monday. It's red beans and Supreme Rice. Parboiled rice, the Odd Father's personal favorite. Now let's get locked in with Jimmy Ott.
And we bring Jimmy in. Good morning, Jimmy. How are you?
Good morning, Charlie. How about you?
Just got a little golf on and watching Game Day with the All Whites. We're going to get to that game here in a second at Penn State. So we're doing well. I know that. Let's start with the LSU game. I know that you like LSU to win in this game, and also know that you like this quarterback more than the one that they replaced. So let's start there and why you like LSU.
Well, I think that it's strength against strength. You know, the strength of Ole Miss's team is their offense. They do not have the roster, especially up front defensively, that they did last year. Last year, they really had a chance, not just to get to the playoff, but to make some noise. They were really good. The 3 games they lost, they led in the fourth quarter. And we know about, they kind of gave it away in Gainesville, Baton Rouge, and certainly at home against Kentucky. They don't have those guys that last year. This is a typical Ole Miss roster we've seen at Lane Kiffin. They're going to score a lot. They're going to give up a lot of points. I do not think they're going to be hyper speed like they've been in the past at times, because those coaches, those tempo coaches, have learned their lesson. You know, they get to the 7th, 8th game of the season, and their defensive front is either injured or worn down or both. So Josh Heupel, Gus Malzahn, Lane Kiffin, those type of guys have kind of tempered that down. But I think that Ole Miss doesn't have guys that on defense that can stand up and really perform at a high level. I think LSU offense does. I know they do. So Nussmeier showed that he's healthy last week. He's pushing the ball vertically like he can do. He can make throws vertically that a lot of guys can't make. They're very good at receiver, and they're very deep at receiver. The offensive line is concerned. LSU can't run the ball, but Ole Miss can't stop the run. So they'll run it better and more effectively than they've done for most of the season, and Ole Miss will stop it a little bit more effectively. But where the weak link of the team, their offense, and the LSU has not scored a whole lot. I mean, this is not a good scoring offense to this point. Forget last week. But they can step it up. Nussmeier in this receiving corps can step up their game, and they're capable. And I think they will. And that's where I look for it. put pressure on Musselman, whatever. This is on him, man. This is why he waited his turn. Go in here and get a key win on the road.
One more thing about Lane Kiffin's offense. It seemed at times last year that going forward on fourth and anything reasonable, and they were probably going to go. This year, through 4 games, only Tennessee has gone for it fewer times in the Southeastern Conference. Part of that philosophical switch, Jimmy?
I haven't really seen a whole lot of those, Charlie. I haven't seen where, those critical downs. They didn't have a whole lot of fourth downs against Arkansas. They just went through them. They didn't need to last week against Tulane because Tulane had 0 yards passing. I mean, Tulane ambushed Darian Mensah in Duke and left a little bit on the field at Yeoman Stadium uptown and before they went to Oxford. They were terrible offensively last week. And so there wasn't really a pressing time. Oh, I think if there's some fourth down, some 4th and 2, 4th and 3, they're going to get up there, and that's when he loves to go tempo. So I wouldn't say that. Oh no, you get 4th and 2, 4th and 3 near the -40 or +40. I expect Kiffin to go for it.
If we get anything today like what we got last night, we're in for a whale of a day in college football. Last night we had an overtime game, a double overtime game, and the game that didn't go to overtime was decided on a field goal with under 30 seconds to go. So let's hope that we've got some more of those today. Jimmy, let's start in Athens, where Alabama is a small underdog, but a lot of action on the Tide this week, a lot of tickets on the Tide. And Georgia has not lost under Kirby Smart at home in 33 games.
Yeah, and I just don't agree with the line, but the Alabama, the public and the Sharks both are betting Alabama this season like it's a typical Alabama team. I mean, we talk about Clemson, maybe that performance, that win maybe is not quite as impressive, and that's fair for LSU. But what about Alabama? How's Wisconsin look? How does Florida State look? I mean, so they have done nothing. I mean, you're out Monroe, and that's about it. Ty Simpson will be a little bit more settled than he was in his first true road start at Doak Campbell. But and Georgia's, I think, is a little tick off. It's impossible to maintain that elite level, especially defensively. All you need to do is look at the Philadelphia Eagles defensive front and those two guys. I mean, they don't have that, and nobody does. But I still think they're better than Alabama. I think their quarterback grew up a lot in Knoxville where he had to, or they're going home. They got breaks. They got the missed field goal, but they also made some plays, to stay around. I think Georgia's a little bit better than Alabama, and they're at home in a revenge spot. I don't get it. So I'm against the move here. I'm taking Georgia.
The whiteout game up at Penn State. Oregon comes in about a 3.5-point underdog. Jimmy, we've spent a lot of time on the Daily Show kind of lampooning this Penn State joke of a schedule, non-conference schedule, and they're coming off of a bye week of all things. Oregon comes in with what before the season would look like a reasonable schedule on paper in the non-conference with games against Oklahoma State and Oregon State. That sounds reasonable, except those two teams have been absolutely atrocious. So we don't really know either of these teams has been tested quite yet, but what do we see tonight at Beaver Stadium?
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. And we've seen this with Oregon in the past. Now, they've played some weak non-conference opponents, and they blast them. Historically, they've been a great bully. I love their roster, and as long as Phil Knight is around, they are going to reload and not rebuild. And they got a lot of new faces, but I highly respect them. I picked them at a shot at the price. I would have taken Penn State, if it was just straight up, but at a little bit more of a price. I picked Oregon, to win the Big Ten championship again this year. It's a very good game, but who the heck knows with either team? Yes, Oklahoma State, they're bad enough to where your coach who had 18 straight winning seasons, they fired him after 4 games. That's how bad they are in Stillwater. So, yeah, it's just Oregon State. We know that they're not what they once were. I don't kill their schedule making as much as Penn State, because Penn State knew these teams were going to be weak 2, 3, 4 years ago when they scheduled them, or Oregon did not. But so both are really untested. I mean, it's basically a pick 'em on a neutral field. I'm not thrilled with what I've seen with my eyeballs with Penn State so far. But Charlie, this is a stay away game for me, man. I really, it's going to be a tough place to play. It's going to be I think it's going to be a very close game in Oregon. In Penn State tonight. And I really don't have a feel who's actually going to come out a winner.
In the Southeastern Conference, Auburn last week, a tough loss up at Oklahoma, and the controversial play and all that. But they got to turn right back around and go to Texas A&M this week. The quarterback edge is in College Station. What do you think about the Aggies tonight against Auburn?
I give the edge at quarterback to the Aggies. We've seen in the second full year as a starter, their quarterback, take a step in the right direction. Billy Lucci was trying to tell us a little bit that he may, and he has. And where he really outshines Arnold is with his touch and accuracy, kind of like with Chambliss and Simmons at Ole Miss today. But I like Auburn's team, Charlie. We respect Oklahoma. We respect Mateer. You go there and play them, and, man, think about the calls that went against them. Scoop and score for a touchdown, reverse. I thought that was way too close to reverse it. I thought whatever you called on the field, it was going to stand. I was wrong, and Auburn paid for it. We know about the hideout play, and we know about the controversy and the fallout. Bad business by Venables in Oklahoma to do that after being warned. 4 head coaches from the SEC called Sankey to say, what is going on here? We had multiple teleconferences exactly about this, and they still did it. So they've been reprimanded privately. You know that. But they were, and then the catch, was it a catch and a fumble, or, was he down? That set up the last touchdown, the winning touchdown for Oklahoma. So many breaks went against Auburn in that game, and 13 penalties as well. I don't know if you heard the Auburn radio team. They were not happy about the calls coming down the stretch, and they were still right there. So I think this is kind of an even game. I know it's on the road, but I think this line is way too high. I'm going to go with Auburn plus a 6.5, or even seeing some 7s out there today.
Another interesting game in the Southeastern Conference today. This will be an SEC Network game at 3:15. Number 15 Tennessee heads to Mississippi State. The Bulldogs are one of the more surprising stories of the first month of the season to get out of that thing at 4-0. You think you give them a puncher's chance at home today?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe so. Mississippi State is 4-0 against the spread because they've exceeded expectations. Everybody's power rating coming in had them dead last, 16th in the SEC this year. And Blake Shapen, the Evangel product, who went to Baylor first and had to come in for, their starter was injured for that Big 12 championship game. He won the MVP, the offensive MVP of that Big 12 championship win against Oklahoma State a few years ago. So he's healthy this year. He's throwing the ball better. And so I want to see Tennessee away from home. So this is not Aguilar's first road start. He's had a lot at Appalachian State, but it's his first SEC road start. And so, I'm interested to see. I think he'll be okay, but he might have a little choppiness in his game today. I'm curious. There is a chance that Mississippi State could play with them. I know Paul Stone, our buddy who we respect a lot, is a veteran college football handicapper. He took Mississippi State the points in this game.
Last one, and we kind of went in reverse chronological order here. This is in the early window at 11 o'clock. Notre Dame and Arkansas. I know. It's a morning start. We're just a little bit discombobulated. Arkansas and Notre Dame face off for the first time, and this game is in Fayetteville. Arkansas coming off of a brutal loss last week to Memphis. Notre Dame, after losing their first 2, got in the win column last week for the first time. This line has been coming down all week. Jim. Now I'm showing 4.5. Notre Dame 4.5. This line was over a touchdown, I think, when we started this on Sunday. So give me your thoughts as we wrap up here on Notre Dame and Arkansas.
Man, Arkansas, it doesn't matter. The names change, the coaches change, but damn, the results and how they lose, they just figure ways to lose. You talk about fumbling inside the 5-yard line to give Memphis the game last week. Well, how about turning it over when you got the ball when you're down 5 in Oxford the week before? They just figured out. So what do I think? I think they're going to figure out some kind of way to lose close to Notre Dame. But I know it's going to be a shootout. Notre Dame's defense, including FCS team, is in the 200s. We saw A&M go up and down the field. So Purdue consistently moved the ball against them last week, even though Notre Dame won and covered. So points galore. Taylor Green looks great. the Boise State people go like, wait, this is the same guy? He really was not a good thrower when he was at Boise State. Man, the second year under Bobby Petrino there, he is really hitting guys in stride. He is beautiful, and he can tuck it and run, we know. So he's taking that next step up in his development. So tons of points. I don't know. I saw some 4s. I know it's a high number, but I would go over because with Arkansas and Notre Dame today.
You don't think Keegan Bradley's going to send English and Morikawa out in the afternoon, do you?
I mean, take your hand off the damn stove, Keegan. I mean, my goodness. How can he do that?
They didn't get beat bad enough yesterday. Right. He had to watch that movie again.
That is, we're at Caesars in the sportsbook right now watching the Ryder Cup, and they got it on the big screen. We'll see where they position it when they get these games going in just a little bit. But wow, man! I mean, it has been ugly, and. The local kid is doing all he can do. Man, Cameron Young has played great for the U.S. They got the point today. He was good yesterday. So, but besides that, man, and guys like Tommy Fleetwood, Charlie, just picked up where he left off. I mean, he is on fire, man. And so you think he cares. He's won a lot in Europe, but he finally won on U.S. soil and kind of got it out of his system. And, I mean, he has not missed a shot.
No.
He's not missed a shot in 2 days.
Him and Rahm have been 1-1A. They've been fantastic. Tell us about Supreme.
Rahm had to hit the ball out of West Wego, man. And he still hit it on it,
Tell us about Supreme Rice.
It's a Monday tradition at the Odd House, baby. It is white beans, red beans. We're doing the red beans and the pork chops this Monday, so we'll put it on the slow cooker on Sunday night and have it ready. The Holy Trinity, Charlie, the bell peppers, the onions, the celery, some garlic in there, plenty of seasoning, and if you got one of them old ham bones, throw it in there as well. Supreme Rice, my favorite rice, the parboiled rice. It's restaurant quality rice, and it's long grain, it's firm, and it gives you all the nutrients of their brown rice as well. So every Monday at the Odd House, including this Monday, red beans and rice with our Supreme Rice.
All right, Jimmy, we'll see you tomorrow for Football Sunday starting at 10 a.m.
Good luck, Charlie.
All right. We'll take a break. Come back. Shay Dixon is with us. We'll talk recruiting. We are at Rouse's, Burbank and Lee, Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient. You will have your pool in no time.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, Our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972.
Eagle 98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Recruiting with Shay Dixon from On3 Sports. Presented by WCK Foundation Repair. WCK Foundation Repair. Support your home team.
To kick off about 4 hours and 10 minutes. Let ESPN Bet at LaBerge be your game day headquarters. Shay, good morning.
Good morning, Charlie. How are you? Hey, nothing feels like game day to me more than Charlie, or more than Ott talking right before I come on. If Bama were also on TV right now in the red zone, it would be perfect.
It's funny how many times that happens, right?
Yeah.
Hey, look, Musso makes the logs. I just show up and do the show, so blame him. Shay, I'm going to ask you this in a month when we get to the next off week, but I'm going to ask you this question today, and we'll revisit in a month. Let's map out what LSU is going to do next week when they have an off week. This is usually an opportunity for the coaches to get out, see some guys in person, and really kind of spread out as much as they can. So kind of walk me through what happens next week for LSU.
Right, and now you get 2 bye weeks these days. It used to be all smashed into one, but fortunately 2 of them. So they'll hit the road, obviously, on Friday and Saturday, or Friday really, they go watch football games, high school football games. But during the week, they'll go check in on all 16 of the current commits that they have. And On3 put out this week kind of a breakdown. Only Oregon is ahead of LSU right now in recruiting with a blue chip ratio. So 16 commits, 13 of them, Charlie, are ranked in the Rivals 300. So a very elite class, and we're going to kind of move into this new era of not signing 25 to 30 high school kids every time. 16 commits with a few months to the early signing period might not seem a lot, but they'll finish with around 20. So go make sure all those guys are locked in. They'll go and check in on the remaining targets, whether it be flip guys like Blaine Bradford at Catholic and Ianacho, the number 2 offensive tackle in the country over at Georgetown Prep in D.C., and the list goes on there. But they'll also get a head start on 2027, which they've already been doing. They've got 1 commit now in Peyton Houston, but they'll bounce around to Louisiana high schools, check in with the coaches, meet with the kids, and then go national a bit. And really, look, everybody, they've got all this data, analytics, everything else. One thing you don't have is when you've been watching a kid and film and all that and talking to him and you haven't gotten into campus yet, you want to go out and see what he looks like. How does, what's kind of the vibe when you sit down and talk with him? So they'll do a lot of that. So I think Monday they'll probably reset, go over things, and then DK and Austin Thomas will send everybody out on the road, and we'll track it all week on the Bengal Tiger. But yeah, that's kind of a fun time to break up the actual season of, hey, look, you don't have to worry about winning or losing this week. You can just focus on the future of the team in recruiting.
So the part I'm going to revisit in a month, and you hit half of it, which is the numbers in the high school recruiting class. As it looks right now, and we'll see if this changes in a month, how active do you think that they are in the portal? Do you have an idea where this is going? Like, okay, there's not you can fill in the blank on a position on the board that I'm comfortable with right now. This is probably an area that they're going to have to address in the portal. How many portal kids, your best guess right now?
Yeah, they're going over double digit again, right? And I don't think it's a desperation thing. I think it's a way of, I think you look at this year's team. How do you get better at spots where you've got some either lack of depth or you just want to increase the talent at the position? So they'll go over 10, and Brian Kelly's talked about this before. What is the formula that you want? Is it signing 20 to 25 high school guys and then signing 10 to 15 portal guys and then retaining your roster? And obviously that's a big piece of it, right? Like, how many guys come back? then what can you do from there? So my guess is I'm going to stick with that. I kind of run the numbers year over year. And this will be one, Charlie, look, time to win, because this roster is going to lose a lot of people off of it. So they'll be heavy in the portal, 10, 15 guys. And then, again, you've already got 16 high school guys. You finish with about 20. And then you cross your fingers and hope that a lot of these guys who could either transfer, could enter the draft early that aren't guaranteed to be first-round picks or top 50 picks, that you convince them to stay. So that's kind of the talking points we'll be hammering home here, as you said. In about a month, we'll start to get a real grip on where things are there. But that's my early guess. Give me 10 to 15 in the portal with about 20 high school signees.
Shay, do you own a white suit?
Jeez.
Have you ever owned a white suit?
Sure, Charlie, yeah.
I've never owned a white suit.
Me either.
Me either. I go, the first thing I would do is I was wearing we'd go eat some chicken wings somewhere. I'd make a mess of the whole thing. But they're going with the whiteout.
When are they going to bring that food spread out there for?
They can't do that today.
No, they have to.
They're all going to get. They're going to get it all over their all over those beautiful white all over those beautiful white suits. Shay, what's coming up?
For those watching Game Day, you've got to kind of squint to even see where they are on the set. They blend right into the background.
Saban wears it well, I guess. Shay, what's coming up after the game with you guys at the Bengal Tiger?
Charlie being kind to Saban now that he's not coaching anymore. I love it. Look, let's predict a win here. So we're going to catch up with all the recruits, see what they think. They've actually got a number of LSU heavy recruits from Louisiana that made the trip up to see this game. So it'll be a Ole Miss LSU recruit each other. A lot of guys will be there that'll see it. We'll get their reactions, and then look, if they can move to 5-0, the reactions from recruits nationally, I think, will be something a lot of people are going to be interested in, because that's kind of LSU suddenly. They've been sitting in the top 5, but nobody's been talking about them a ton. You win this game, I think that changes. And, boy, recruits pay attention to it, Charlie.
Shay, we appreciate it. Enjoy the off week, and we'll talk to you in 2 weeks when LSU takes on South Carolina. Have a great day.
27-24 Tigers, guys. I'll see y'all later.
Take that and run with it. And we will take a break here at Rouse's, where they want to cover your game day spread. You know, you can buy Rouse's brand products, the best quality at the best price. They stack up against the leading national brands that Rouse's sells, but at a lower cost. Most of the Rouse's Markets brand is made right here in Louisiana, but Rouse's also travels the world to bring in the best. And they personally taste and try everything in their brand, so if the Rouse's name is on it, you can trust that it's good. Check it out here at Rouse's Burbank and Lee. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Businesses like yours are the soul of our community. You deserve someone who'll deliver the internet services you deserve. That's why local businesses rely on Rev Business, 90 years of building connections. Visit us at letsrev.biz.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Flight by Yingling. Raise the bar.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
At Atmos Energy, our Smart Choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team colors, team swag, and now your very own website, LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net, powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Children's School.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to DreamPoolLA.
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. The Epic Paving College Football Scoreboard. Epic Paving, Louisiana's preferred paving vendor.
Scoreboard. All right, here's your college football scoreboard.
That way.
We'll roll with this. We start in the early window. Number 16, Georgia Tech is at Wake Forest. Jackets trying to get to 5-0. Number 21, USC is at number 23, Illinois. Illinois got drilled last week by Indiana. We thought that would be a close game. It was not. And USC, so they're trying to bounce back. USC looks like a Lincoln Riley coached team. They score a lot of points. They give up a lot of points.
They do. This is a really interesting spot for USC too, man, because you got to imagine Illinois can't look that bad again. And plus, this will be a 9 a.m. kickoff USC time on Big Noon Kickoff across the country.
You know, I've heard this has become one of the most popular things for the game day shows to do, and I understand why they do it. Both Fox and ESPN is, the body clock for these schools, you know, and they're going to Illinois, and they're going to Piscataway, and they're going to Michigan, they're going to Minnesota. You know what? I got no sympathy for them. Okay, they did this. It's not like they moved the University of Illinois after USC got into the conference. Okay, you wanted to do this. I'm sorry, it's stupid. Okay,
Yeah.
I understand why you did it with all of the money. You made a deal with the devil. Deal with it, okay? If they tell you got to play at midnight, you got to play at midnight. Got no sympathy for them at all. Number 22, Notre Dame is at Arkansas, 11 o'clock kick. First ever meeting between these two schools. Rutgers is at Minnesota. Duke is at Syracuse. First start for Ricky Collins, local product, former LSU quarterback. Steve Angeli is out for the season for Syracuse. He was off to a great start. Collins came into that game against Clemson. He was 3 out of 8. He threw a touchdown pass. It's his show to run now. Duke is a road favorite today at the the Wireless Dome, excuse me. Louisville is at Pitt. Pitt trying to shake off that ugly loss in the backyard brawl. Eli Holstein, very good to start the season. He had a rough day against West Virginia. They get Louisville in today. Also at 11 o'clock, Cincinnati is at Kansas. UCF is at a very disappointing Kansas State, who's 1-3. South Alabama at North Texas. Bowling Green at Ohio. Utah State is at number 18, Vanderbilt. 11:45 kickoff on the SEC network. Next up is Alabama.
Yes,
for Vanderbilt. They are a huge favorite today to get to 5-0. Doesn't happen every day up in Nashville. And they've got Alabama next week. I wonder if this is just a little bit of a look-ahead spot. Utah State is 3-1, and they were semi-competitive in their game against Texas A&M. They lost it by 22.
Yeah, they covered in that game, though. But, yeah, no, I agree. I mean, look, I think we saw this with Florida State last night. Going to Charlottesville, Miami the next week. I think this is clear. Vanderbilt, even though they beat Alabama a year ago, that's probably even more the reason they've had that circled on the schedule this year.
Noon kickoff for Eastern Michigan at Central Michigan. 12:30 kick for Georgia Southern at James Madison. 2 o'clock kickoff for Arkansas State at UL Monroe. In the 2:30 window, number 1 Ohio State is at Washington. Both of these teams are 3-0, and this is the first road start for Julian Sayin at Ohio State.
And not an easy place to play up in Seattle. I mean, depending on which book you're looking at, this line opened 13.5, depending on where you shop, and it's down all the way to 8.5, 7.5 in some places. This one's very intriguing. Washington, though, they will be without 2 key members of their secondary in this game, so file that away.
2:30 kickoff as well for Auburn at number 9, Texas A&M. Rough two-game road schedule here for Auburn. Number 11, Indiana, off that big win against Illinois. Got to go to Kinnick Stadium in Iowa City, where Iowa loves to put the game in the mud. This will be a real contrast.
Really well.
Look, Iowa, since the COVID year, Iowa's record at home is 22-6. Their average margin of loss in those games is 7. And if you take out if you go just the last 2 years, they've lost 2 games at Kinnick by a total of 3 points. They are hard to beat there. It's like trying to get the cats out of the house, okay? They're very, very difficult to play there. Let's see if Indiana can build on what they did last week. UCLA is at Northwestern. Cal is at Boston. Conference game. Baylor is at Oklahoma State. Utah is at West Virginia. UConn is at Buffalo. San Diego State at Northern Illinois. Rice is at Navy. Still in the 2:30 window for Akron at Toledo. New Mexico State at New Mexico. That is a 3 o'clock kick. Also at 3 o'clock, Hawaii is at Air Force. Tulane is at Tulsa. Tulsa coming off one of the bigger wins in program history after beating Oklahoma State. 3:15 on the SEC Network. Number 15, Tennessee at 4-0 Mississippi State. Jimmy gives Mississippi State a chance in this one. Do you?
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, Henny, I'm on Mississippi State plus the points. I absolutely do. Davis Wade's a tough place to play. Like, it is. It doesn't get the credit that it deserves.
They were 0-8 there a year ago.
Huh?
They were 0-8 a year ago.
Yeah, and they lost their starting quarterback, and they were, taking over for Zach Arnett and all that. Levy, I'm impressed with what he's done so far this year. I give them a fighting chance, absolutely.
I'm not quite sold yet, although Arizona State's win last night gives me a little bit more confidence. Mississippi State's win against Arizona State, that's the best part of their resume right now.
First true road game for Tennessee so far this year, too.
All right.
I mean, it just – I'm not counting the neutral site against Syracuse, right?
Yeah. Number 5 o'clock kickoff for Middle Tennessee and Kennesaw State, Liberty and Old Dominion. 5:30 for Rhode Island and Western Michigan. 6 o'clock kick. Arizona is 3-0. They are at number 14, Iowa State. A battle of unbeatens here. 6 o'clock kick for Virginia Tech at NC State. Jacksonville State at Southern Miss. Western Kentucky at Missouri State. Memphis 4-0. And off that big win against Arkansas, they travel to Boca Raton to take on Florida Atlantic. 6:30 kick, the big one from University Park. Number 6, Oregon at number 3, Penn State. Neither of these teams has played a very rough schedule. Oregon tried, but it didn't work out. Penn State purposely put together an NFL preseason schedule here. We'll see if it pays off today.
Yeah, look, Andy, this is what I'll tell you. I like Oregon. I think they're a better team. But this is what I'll say for Penn State. Because of what you just said, the schedule they played, I mean, you've had months. Like, your entire offseason and regular season to this point is built toward this game. You've been preparing for Oregon forever, and you get it at home in a whiteout. Like, if you can't win this one, win.
James Franklin is 1-9 against top 10 teams in his last 10 outings. The only win was in the playoffs against Boise State. 6:30 kick for number 17 Alabama at number 5 Georgia. Earlier this week we did the schedule reveal. Okay, and everybody, I like this, I don't like this. Okay, fine. Here's a absolute sterling silver example of why the league needed to do this and needed to do this 30 years ago. Kirby Smart has been the coach at Georgia since 2016. They have played Alabama 3 times in the SEC championship game and twice in the national championship game. And today is the first time that Alabama will go to Athens while Kirby Smart is the coach. But it was fair, right?
It was fair.
Give me a break.
Georgia still doesn't go into College Station.
Right, exactly.
They'll do it next year.
UMass is at number 20, Missouri. 6:30 kick for Washington State at Colorado State. San Jose State at Stanford. App State at Boise State. 6:45 on the SEC Network. Kentucky is at South Carolina. Gamecocks up in Missouri last week. They lost the game, but Lenore Sellers, I thought, looked good in the loss.
Yeah, he looked better for sure.
Healthy too.
He looked healthy. Really was able to stretch the field. Their defense is just concerning. But again, if not now, when? If you're South Carolina, you better win this game at home.
7 o'clock kick for Marshall and UL Lafayette at Cajun Field. 8 o'clock kick for Louisiana Tech and UTEP. And at 9:15, only one game in the late window. Number 25, BYU, is at Colorado. And that is your college football scoreboard. We'll take a break. We come back. We'll get our scouting report on Ole Miss from Drew Fabanich from the Senior Bowl. That is next here at Rouse's Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
When it comes to pipe fabrication, time is money. And at River Parish Contractors, we make every second count. Our 36,000 square foot shop is ready to take on your projects right now. With experienced welders, precise fittings, and fast turnarounds you can trust. Whether it's a single custom spool or a full-scale run, we have the capacity and the skill to keep your job on schedule. Call us or visit rpcontractors.com for your quote. That's rpcontractors.com.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful
98.1 Eagle 98.1 Game Day Scouting Report presented by Demco, providing safe, reliable, and competitively priced energy services to co-op members since 1938.
Welcome back in, Eagle 98.1 Game Day, live from the Rouses on Burbank and Lee. Your Fighting Tigers of LSU. They're up in Oxford, facing the Ole Miss Rebels, first of 6 consecutive SEC football games for Brian Kelly and the Tigers in 2025. Let's head over to the Senior Bowl, get our scouting report on Ole Miss. The executive director, Drew Fabianich, joins the show. As always, you can get him on Twitter X at DFabeSB, the Senior Bowl at Senior Bowl. Drew, we appreciate the time. Another week. How are you?
Good, man. A pleasure to be here, just like always, baby.
Man, we appreciate the time, of course. And look, I don't want to bury the lead here with this game. It's clearly quarterback. And I think one of the things we all love about college football, about sports in general, is the unexpected rise. And that fits Trinidad Chambliss for Ole Miss to a T. From Ferris State, now to the SEC, and in 2 starts, he has looked magnificent. A lot of people are going to point to the teams and the defense he did it against. Yes, this will be a step up, but from a guy off the radar to now firmly on the radar, what have you seen so far from Trinidad Chambliss?
First thing I saw was that, Coach Kiffin has used his skill set, and taken advantage of, what those are. And put it this way, he's great with the ball in his hand. I mean, he is a run threat. But, then you go, hey, he's, kind of short in stature, can he throw? Yeah, he can throw too. There's a reason why he was really, really successful at Ferris State. I think 2 national championships, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But, there's a reason why he's been successful because, he throws it well enough. I mean, he's not super, accurate, but he does have, a good arm strength. And like I said, he is a run threat and very good with the ball in his hand, very good vision.
I have a couple more on Chambliss. Look, you've seen this LSU defense plenty already through 4 weeks. I mean, y'all have the most players in the top 300 at the Senior Bowl are on the LSU team, so it's been a very close eye. How does Chambliss match up with the Tiger defense on Saturday night?
Well, I mean, I think anybody's going to have an issue with LSU's defense. I mean, again, there's a lot of prospects running around that field. Not just pass rushers. They've got players at every level of the defense, whether be a backer or back in the secondary. He's going to be looking for matchups, and again, you're going to have to account for the quarterback as a runner now. That's a little bit differently than what they probably did with the rest of the teams they played so far. So again, you're going to have to look at things a little bit differently when you're coordinating against that type of quarterback.
Drew, was he on the Senior Bowl's radar at all over at Ferris State, maybe when he was a junior or whatnot, looking at him going, okay, that's a guy who could possibly make noise?
Well, he was on the board. I mean, when I got here, again, was he the top in the top 300? No, he was not. Can he elevate himself? Absolutely. And he has elevated himself so far. And again, that's what I told you when we first talked. Matt, our top 300 doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to take our 140 players out of that 300, because anybody can play into this game, play into this invite. So, I mean, he's really progressed. And like I said, and the thing about, Lane, he takes advantage of people's, he doesn't take advantage of, he uses, their skill sets very well. I mean, if they're a good runner, he's going to use that. If he's a great passer, he's going to use that. He's going to take those skill sets and he's going to run with them.
Last one on Chambliss, and we'll move on. What are his NFL prospects? How would he translate to the next level?
Well, again, you have to have somebody that's an offensive coordinator that's willing to take, a smaller quarterback because he's not prototypic. He's not prototype height, weight, length. And you also have to have an offensive coordinator that's willing to use those skill sets and, use him as a runner. Are there a lot of guys out there like him? No. But you can see now that, the Kyler Murrays of the world, the Baker Mayfields, the smaller guys, the Russell Wilsons are getting an opportunity, in the league. And, way back, 10 years ago, that wasn't normally the case. Those guys weren't getting an opportunity. So, again, could somebody take him? Yes, they could. Could he fit in the right system? Yes, but you're going to have to change your system a little bit for him.
It'll be certainly interesting to watch, and obviously very interesting on Saturday night. That's a huge matchup between LSU's defense and Trinidad Chambliss. Let's stick with the offensive side of the ball. Tight end Daquan Wright for the Rebs, tied for the lead in receiving touchdowns. Really a massive human being out there on the edge, 6'4", 255. I mean, look, they lose Luke Haas at the start of the season. Daquan Wright has filled those shoes pretty well.
Yeah, he really has. And, and you really didn't mention how he is actually a pretty good inline blocker, too. He sets the edge really well for them in certain plays. He can reach defensive ends, which widens and takes the defense horizontal, instead of vertically. He's also a vertical threat. And like you said, a big target. And there's nothing better for a quarterback when you've got a big man like that because he's very quarterback friendly, because he's got a big radius. He can go up and get the ball, and he's good with contested catches too. And he's pretty good with the ball in his hand after the catch too.
Another guy on the offensive side of the ball is Dejon Stripling, a wide receiver, Hawaiian native, actually, as a matter of fact. Another big target. The production maybe not there quite yet to the level many expected, but what do y'all like about him?
Because he's long and he actually releases well. But here's the thing people can't see, because it's not like evident, but he eats up grass. He's a long strider and he is very fast. And you don't see that because of the long stride. I would be willing to bet, if they get an opportunity to take a shot, I'd be willing to bet you he'll be the one that they'll take a shot with. Just because he's long, he's fast, he's good in and out, he's smooth, and he's pretty strong for being a thinner guy. He wasn't all that productive, at Oklahoma State either because, the quarterback couldn't get him the ball last year. I think, like I said, I think you're going to see a lot more production as this year goes on with Stripling.
What about him in the intermediate passing game, Drew? I mean, you mentioned the deep shot, obviously, but he's not a one-trick pony, is he?
No, that's why I said he's good in and out, too.
Okay.
I'm just saying that when you're a corner and you see a guy long striding, sometimes you're not quite aware how fast they really are until they're on top of you, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
The foot speed looks slower, but it's really not. Does that make sense, Matt?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. We're talking with Drew Fabianich, the executive director of the Panini Senior Bowl. You can get him on at Twitter X at DFabeSB. You can find the Senior Bowl at Senior Bowl. They do a great job putting out content all week long, player of the week, matchups to watch. All of that stuff allows you to really track the game before it gets here in February. Let's switch sides of the ball. And look, this is odd because if it weren't for Trinidad Chambliss and his sudden rise the last 2 weeks and him likely starting the football game tonight, we probably would have led with Suntarine Perkins because this guy coming off a 10.5 sack season really set the SEC on fire in 2024, really burst onto the scene. We know what the ability is. I'm going to get you to talk about that a little bit, but the production from a sack standpoint, not there yet, really for Ole Miss's defense as a whole. But let's talk about Perkins first, the player.
Well, he is really athletic. He's a little bit undersized, to be playing defensive end. He's not a defensive end. They really play him as an outside linebacker, and he's good as a sub rusher. Doesn't hold up great against the run, but his forte is his pass rush and his athletic ability. And the funny thing is they're actually dropping him a little bit more in coverage than they did last year. So that might be a little bit of why the production's down. I would assume that that's probably going to change a little bit. I think Coach Golding's probably going to be bringing him off the edge a little bit more as the year goes on. That's why I don't think the production has been there yet. And again, he'll end up being, a sub rusher in the NFL. And he's probably going to end up going to a 3-4 team because he's not big enough to be defensive end.
How has he looked in coverage so far in terms of
good.
grading out?
Yeah, good. I mean, because again, he's a good athlete, and I'll give you a simple Bill Parcellianism. It's really not that hard to drop curl flat. It's really, he said it's kind of overrated. He said just drop, make sure you're in the windows, and then break down and make a play in space. He says it's really not that hard, and he's athletic enough to do that pretty easily.
It certainly seems like it's going to be one heck of a matchup. I mean, you got the great offensive mind of Lane Kiffin against Blake Baker and LSU's defense. You have dynamic players really on both sides of the ball, including both guys named Perkins for each team. This one's set to be fantastic Saturday afternoon here in a few hours up in Vaught Hemingway. Drew, we appreciate the time as always, man. And look, we'll take a break for the bye week, but we'll be back a week after that when Tigers welcome in South Carolina to Death Valley.
Okay, I look forward to it, man. Thank you. Absolutely.
Again, that is Drew Fabianich, the executive director of the Panini Senior Bowl. We got to grab a break. We will come back on the other side with more. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Flight by Yingling. Raise the bar.
Parrish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parrishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parrishbuilt.com.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The Banks Foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even JB could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of JB Falgout.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and First American Bank and Trust bring you the Heart of the Game Award, recognizing student athletes who deliver when it counts. Nominate your game day standout at 1045ESPN.com by the 21st. We'll choose 5 male and 5 female finalists, and then it's up to the fans to vote for the winners. Each winner gets a $250 gift card, a custom award, and the spotlight they've earned. Presented by First American Bank and Trust, a banking tradition since 1910.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Bend Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972.
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. After further review on Game Day, presented by Alpha Customs. Alpha Customs. Be an Alpha. AlphaCustoms.net. After further review is heard weekday afternoons at 3 on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Now from AFR, here's Matt Moscona.
Our LeBears countdown to kickoff, about 3.5 hours, a little over 3.5 hours to kick off today's game between LSU and Ole Miss. Let ESPN Bet at LeBears be your game day headquarters. Scone, good morning.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
I'm doing good. You have been bullish all week on LSU's chances in this game. So tell us why.
I think we see this with Lane Kiffin's teams almost every year. They are really good offensively against bad opponents, and then they face a really good defense, and it doesn't go great for them. And I think that's what we're about to see. The best pass defense that Ole Miss has faced so far is Arkansas, which is 74th in the country. I do not think that a Division II quarterback from Ferris State has seen anything like what he is going to see from Blake Baker's defense today with pros at all levels of the defense. So I think this is probably going to be a tougher day offensively for Ole Miss. And on the flip side, I think Ole Miss's defense is hot garbage. And I think LSU has better athletes and will finally open up the offense and get going.
What do you think the difference is in this offense with Trinidad Chambliss running it as opposed to Austin Simmons?
Well, so far the only difference would be the turnovers. Simmons had 4 interceptions through 2 games, and Chambliss hadn't turned it over yet. But as far as what they do, Brian Kelly actually was asked this earlier in the week, I think on Monday, and said basically point blank that it would be different if it was something like what you faced last year with Texas A&M, where you had Connor Wegman and Marcel Reed, who were stylistically very different, right? When Reed came into that game, it added the dimension of the running quarterback that LSU clearly wasn't ready for. This is one of those things where both Simmons and Chambliss can do both, so it doesn't necessarily change the offense. Not to say that they're the exact same player, but stylistically, I don't know that it changes what Ole Miss is going to try to do.
Caden Durham not expected to play in this game. So if you are Brian Kelly and Joe Sloan, What is your focus on getting the running game going today?
I'm not the one that's going to, like, down talk Caden Durham. I know there's been a segment of the LSU fan base that's done that. I'll remind you that after not playing in the opener against SC last year, having 5 carries for 4 yards against Nichols, Durham was one of the primary reasons you won the game at South Carolina. He played half a season with a steel plate in his cleat last year with dislocated toes. So I would feel much better if you had Caden Durham. That said, I am excited to see what if Juwan Johnson gets 12 to 15 carries. I think, he's got some wiggle and some burst, very instinctive runner. This might be an opportunity to see more of Harlem Berry. One thing to consider, guys, like I was looking at the Pro Football Focus numbers today, the best pass blocking running back that LSU has by a mile is Caleb Jackson. Now, he has not gotten going running the ball, only 6 carries for 6 yards. But if your objective today is keep Nussmeier upright and sling it around, Jackson and pass protection to give help to that offensive line could be an interesting option.
Yeah. And getting back to Durham for a second, I believe he has been more hurt than he has let on. What I hadn't seen in the games that he's played is the explosion. And you can really see the difference when Johnson was in there and hitting the hole. And I think, Matt, I don't know if you feel this way, I think that's a direct result of that ankle. I know he is more explosive than what we have seen. And my opinion is he has been more injured than he has let on.
Yeah, I don't know. You may have more insight to that than me. It definitely has looked different. But the thing I'll also say is, last week on the TV broadcast, Jordan Rogers did a good job kind of spot shadowing a couple of plays where maybe Durham missed a hole, right, didn't follow his block. And I think sometimes you see that small sample size, you extrapolate and say, he's not running with great vision. The flip side of it is I don't think we should ignore the amazing plays he has made, like the first play of the season when they ran the ball to the left side, there was no hole, he bounced it right for 24 yards against Clemson. So I'm not saying you're wrong on that. I don't really have any insight to it. I just think there have been times where he has been good. Look, he was really good for you in goal line situations against Florida, against Tech. So I would let, if what Caden Durham needs is a week off today and the open date next week to get closer to whole for when South Carolina comes to Baton Rouge in 2 weeks, then go ahead and give it to him. I think you should be able to win this game today without him.
Scone, I wanted to kind of flip it on you a little bit. You've been, by your own admission, overconfident this week. If LSU does lose, how does the game go? Like what does it look like in order for LSU to lose this game in your eyes?
Yeah, if they lose, I think it's just because the offense is what most people think it is. And they're just not able to get going at all. And that would be super disappointing because I think that would set the stage for what's probably going to be a disappointing season relative to expectations, because I think LSU's defense is really good. I think objectively we could all look at that and say there's pros at every level. They're gonna keep LSU in every game they play. But my contention through the first month, part of the reason we've seen LSU slow offensively, by Brian Kelly's admission, some of it has been by design, right? If it's because you've got 5 new starters on the offensive line, Nuss's torso, really good defensive fronts from Clemson and Florida, whatever the reason may be. Objectively, LSU has not been elite, explosive, consistent offensively through the first month. If all those things start to rectify, right? Nuss is healthy, the offensive line is getting more veteran, you're playing a much lesser defense today. If you're not able to get going offensively in this game, I think that's why LSU would lose it if they do today. And I think that becomes a much bigger problem moving forward because you can win games. It's the inverse of 2023, where you can win games with an elite offense, but you can't win championships. And this team fancies itself as a contender, so the offense has to get going today.
One of the deepest positions on this team is along the defensive line, but they will be without Gabe Relaford for the rest of the season. Matt, what does the rotation look like, in your opinion, without him today?
I think Dylan Carpenter gets the first crack at it. He's got the most snaps at defensive end outside of the top 4. Third-year player from Santa Ma. He's done a really good job being patient, waiting his turn. He's probably a guy that could help you both in the pass rush and setting the edge against the run. The guys that are really intriguing to me, though, if Kevin Peoples decides to use a rotation, Kalaj Cobbins redshirt freshman from Destrehan, has elite bend off the edge, and he's remade his body too, guys. Like when he signed, I went and looked this up. He was 6'1", 205 when he signed. They got him now at 6'3", 238. So he's going to keep developing into a real dude for LSU. And then Damian Shanklin, everybody saw the flash last week. He had 2 sacks. He is like all airport team. You go out to practice and you watch the defensive ends and you stand there and you look at 17, you go, geez, who's that guy? Well, that's the freshman from Indiana. I mean, he's 6'5", 260, and he looks the part. And he's probably the highest ceiling guy of all of them. But in the immediate short term, they probably lean on Carpenter, who's just been around the longest.
Got an opinion on Georgia and Alabama?
Do I have an opinion on Georgia and Alabama? Who are you asking that question to, Hanny? Do I have an opinion? Do you think Elmer Fudd is going to be the one to go to Georgia and end Kirby Smart's 33-game home winning streak? I mean, Georgia don't lose in that building. You think old Elmer Fudd and Ty Simpson? Oh, congratulations on beating Monroe and Wisconsin, who's about to fire their coach. You play one legitimate team, you get pushed all around the yard. Oh, by the way, that legitimate team lost yesterday to Virginia. Give me a break. Alabama, Georgia. Come on, Hanny. You ask me a real question. Come to me with that. Do I have an opinion on Alabama and Georgia?
Maybe I should have said share your opinion.
Share. Yeah.
Your Honor, can I rephrase the question? All right, it's going after the game, LSU and Ole Miss. You're firing it up, huh?
Yeah, I'll do a live stream on my YouTube channel. So if anybody wants to hang out, we'll lead it up to you guys on Eagle Game Day postgame. All
right, Matt. Enjoy the game. We'll talk to you next in 2 weeks for LSU South Carolina.
All right, guys. See you
later. We are here at Rouse's, Burbank and Lee. Tailgating doesn't have to be complicated. You've got Rouse's, easy to cover your spread, from party trays and dips, fried chicken, wings, mini sandwiches, all the fan favorites ready to roll. You want to fire up the grill, you got fresh burgers, sausages, boudin, marinated meats right from the butcher. Also all the chips, desserts, soft drinks, beer, wine, and the famous slow melt ice. All your paper plates, napkins, utensils, one trip, everything you need. That's how you cover the spread at Rouse's. 11 o'clock window getting kicked off here. We'll set the stage for that, and we'll also hear from the guys from OTB. That is next, Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Builders School.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to dreampoolla.com and you can find out how your $25 donation might help win you a Duplessis pool.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. It's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means.
98.1 Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Off the bench on Game Day. Presented by Shell. Shell is the rhythm of Louisiana. Off the bench is heard weekday mornings at 7 on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Now from OTB, here's Jacob Hester and Matt Flynn.
Welcome back in, Eagle 98.1 Game Day, live from the Rouses on Burbank and Lee. Your Fighting Tigers of LSU. They're up in Oxford, facing the Ole Miss Rebels, first of 6 consecutive SEC football games.
All right, as we continue talking a little Ole Miss and LSU, Trinidad Chambliss is going to be one of the major storylines. He is going to be the starting quarterback in this game, and so far he has been successful in this season. He has thrown for 719 yards. He's completing 68% of his passes. He has 4 touchdowns to no interceptions. He's also 11.6 yards per attempt, so big plays. Let's see what he's done so far this year and who he's done it against. Against Georgia State, came in mop-up duty, 4-6, 59 yards and a score. He did not play against Kentucky. Okay, against Arkansas, he comes in 21 of 29, 353 yards, 72% completion percentage, over 12 yards per attempt, had a score, no interceptions. Against Tulane a week ago, 17 of 27, 307 through the air, 63% completion percentage, 2 scores, no interceptions. Running the football, he had 8 yards against Georgia State. Against Kentucky, he didn't throw a pass, but he did have a couple of runs. He had 3 carries for 13 yards. Against Arkansas, 15 carries for 62 yards and 2 scores. And then last week against Tulane, it was 14 for 112, 8 yards per carry, had a long of 41. So he has been dynamic. I'll give him credit when he's been in there. Do I think he's faced a defense that he's about to face in LSU? Not even close. Arkansas is almost dead last in every single SEC category. I don't think Kentucky has any game changers on that defense. And again, he just ran the football in that game. No pass attempts for him. The Tulane defense isn't bad. They're okay. They're in the middle of the pack as far as the American and the American standings and where they're at there. But he's not facing LSU defense right now. No, is it a challenge for LSU's defense? Yeah, it is. Good offense. But LSU so far on defense has been smothering. LSU on defense so far has gotten after every quarterback. Cade Klubnik and DJ Lagway, right? Guys we hyped up in the preseason. They played really well against them, right? Yep. And look, those quarterbacks have not played like we thought they would. But LSU's been up for the challenge whenever they've been challenged by anybody. Louisiana Tech, in the fourth quarter, you're scratching and clawing and fighting because you don't want them to score. Against Southeastern, when they scored finally last week, you saw how upset the starting defense was, right? They wanted the shutout. It's a different LSU defense than we've had here in a very, very long time. Trinidad Chambliss has been great, but he's about to face something that he hasn't seen yet, and I cannot wait to see how it plays out.
So 2 starts for Trinidad last 2 weeks and has played really well. Statistically, really, really impressive. Watching the tape, Arkansas is one of the worst SEC defenses I remember watching. I don't know statistically how they really are. I'm just talking about from a personnel standpoint, from an adjustment standpoint, not very good. Trinidad Chambliss, he's very fast. And Lane Kiffin is a master of trying to get his playmakers in a advantageous position from a numbers perspective to be able to make plays and to use their skill set. And that is exactly what he's doing with Trinidad. He is using a lot of zone reads, not just like your traditional zone read with your running back where they're letting the end go and they're zoning up to the will linebacker and the mic and he's reading the defensive end, but they're doing it out of shifts, motions, jet sweep read options, pitch it to the back or run the ball. A lot of creative ways to let Trinidad read what the defense is doing and then give them multiple options. It's just like a defense training and practicing for an old school triple option. You have to be very disciplined on defense. You have to know your assignment, stick to your assignment, and no matter what kind of eye candy they're showing you, no matter how amazing of a play you think you can go hit Trinidad right now, if he's not the person you're supposed to hit, you have to stay on your assignment. So you have to avoid the temptation to leave your responsibility in an attempt to try to make a play, because that's exactly what Lane Kiffin wants you to do. He wants you to get out of position because those are the kind of plays he's drawn up. Now, it is surprising to me that he has had so many passing yards in all these games, because I don't think he is the best passer. Okay, so I don't think he is. Now, he has thrown for a lot of yards. I just don't think he's a very accurate passer. Now, he's excelled recently in the passing game because of that threat to run the ball. Yeah. Defenses really haven't had the personnel against Ole Miss to just be able to line up with a normal box, a normal amount of people in the box, and stop their attack. So they've had to load the box with extra people, which has given them very easy pickings. in the past game. So I don't think Trinidad Chambliss is good enough to beat this LSU defense. There are issues. LSU has to play well. But if they continue to play like we've seen each and every week, I mean, we have guys playing last week against Southeastern harder than anybody's ever played a directional school U. Like the effort that they're giving. So we know it's going to be there. We know we have the talent. We know we have the speed to match up with Trinidad's legs.
Yeah.
I think they're going to stop that, and he has not shown me that he can really like read a full
Isn't that what
read.
you want him to have to do?
Absolutely. Make him beat him.
Like,
Make him beat you with his arm.
Yeah, if you lose to Ole Miss and Chambliss, like it has to be because he beat you going through his progressions, making throws that you didn't believe maybe he can make, right? Like that has to be.
He's not going to beat you with his legs.
Right.
LSU, like Blake Baker is too good. So Lane Kiffin, what does he like to do? He likes to set up, and then try to hit you with that setup and hit you with a haymaker.
Right.
So Blake Baker knows that, right? We trust, and Blake Baker we trust, right?
Yeah.
And he's got the personnel and the speed. So make Trinidad beat you with his arm. Make him have to go through first, second, third, check down, because I don't think he can do it. And when he does do it, I don't think he's very accurate. Now, if a team's loading the box and there's a corner route running wide open, yeah, he can hit that. He can hit it all day.
Yeah.
But he has not faced an LSU defense. So I actually really like this matchup for LSU's defense. I really do. And I know the success. I know he's thrown for over 300 yards on both of his starts. I know he's run for like 100 plus. I get it. I don't really care.
Yeah.
LSU's defense is a nightmare matchup for him.
We always talk about the Ole Miss offense, and let's take the last two games out because they are a team that does want to run the football first, and that's why we're so adamant about, hey, you got to stop the run. If you stop the run and you make him become a true passer, that is going to behoove you. And so when you look at the Ole Miss running game, and it's very diverse, and that's one thing I give them a lot of credit for. A lot of people just assume a lot with the Ole Miss offense. In the last two games, Matt, they've had 77 runs, and it's been a combination. You've had 3% outside zone. You've had 27% inside zone. You've had a man scheme 39% of the time. You've had power 12% of the time. You've had counter 9% of the time. And you've had pull lead 6% of the time. So my point in bringing that up is it is a very diverse run game. It is not your, hey, we're just going to run zone read, and that's really going to be our only run that we have up. And look, at times LSU has fallen into that over the last couple of years. Now, when you had Jaden Daniels, the math changes, and it's like, okay, I get it.
Yep.
I get why you only run inside zone because he can pull and go 85 like he did against Florida. But this Ole Miss offense, like they're going to try to get the running game going however they can. They're going to try different runs until they feel like they found something that can be a weakness for you.
Yeah, and a lot of it's quarterback runs with Trinidad Chambliss. Like, and you watch the film. It's
those
not
powers
just,
and counters or Q power,
they
Q
did,
counter.
They did a lot. I saw them run a zone read, which I've never seen this before. A zone read and no tight ends in the box. So it was just a 5-down lineman. There's no tight end on the left or right. They ran a zone read off the end, but the tackle was pulling to the side like a power lead guy. As a tackle, I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, you don't see many pullers on zone runs.
A huge shocker. It didn't work.
Right.
But so it was weird. It's like kind of like a look how smart I am type of play by the offensive line coach probably. But they do, and they'll run a lot of quarterback lead sweeps outside, and then they'll hit you with a fake lead sweep counter to the other side. So they do a lot of creative things. I mean, for all like this reputation that Lane Kiffin has, we know that he wants to run the ball, and he's a creative run game designer.
Yeah, he is,
and he's not afraid to try something for the first time, right?
Yeah, because I've never seen that either. I've watched a lot of film.
He's not afraid to try anything, but he's. We've all seen the clip of Lane Kiffin when he was the OC at Alabama. I think it was Tua, or maybe it was Jalen Hurts. I can't remember. Like the play action in the post, and he's walking down the field with his hands up. Like he loves the setup, and he knows the exact thing you're looking.
On the sluggo you showed on film, he's got his arms up, like he knows. Yeah, he knows. That's his favorite part of it.
That's his like I can only imagine. Like that's his favorite part as a coach is setting somebody up and then running something off of that setup. He gets the satisfaction from that. So look for that throughout the game, and it could be subtle. Something like we're running this jet sweep, and all of a sudden it's a jet sweep, reverse counter throw. Like it's just he wants to do a setup, and you're going to look for it. What you don't want to see this week is LSU's defense get undisciplined, and you see Lane Kiffin's arms go up before the pass has even been thrown. So, but I'm excited about it. I think the game could come down to the chess match between Blake Baker and Lane Kiffin's trickery. Yeah, the setup. What kind of trick play can he? Because that's the only way that I think that they'll be able to be explosive and score on this defense. Now, okay, they could have a good drive. They could have a little, it could be a missed tackle, and Trinidad makes a good run. But from a big explosive play, I think the only way they're going to do it is that setup trick play. So look for that chess match between Blake Baker, Lane Kiffin, and can he keep them, our defense disciplined enough to not get hit, not get counterpunched with one of those trick plays.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see who they try to do that to as well, because when you look at the defensive backfield in Delane and Halsey and Cooley, those guys play a lot of football. Right? They've kind of seen all the things that we're talking about.
around.
Right now, P.J. Williams played a lot of football, but he's only a sophomore. All right. Now, DJ Pickett is an alien. I mean, that guy, like, he's going to play football for as long as he wants to play football. Like, when you see him walking around, and you're like, yeah, you're not from this earth, because nobody looks like you, has the speed and size and the smarts that he has as a freshman. So he's a very, very big-time player for LSU, and they're counting on him as a freshman. But I wonder if he gets in, if Lane Kiffin's like, all right, I got to test this freshman. Right? I got to try to double move this freshman. I wonder how intricate they're going to get with some of those shots that they take. Because they're going to take them, and they're going to set it up. Like, I wonder if they're like, okay, let's try one of the young guys, because we don't feel like we can get Delane. Like, Delane's been really good this year. He's played as well as any corner in America so far this year. Let's see. Even though DJ Pickett is, I truly believe, he's going to be like an all-SEC, all-American type guy. Let's see if we can get him. Let's see if we can get P.J. Woodland maybe to bite on the sluggo that we talked about yesterday.
And it might be one of those situations. Let's play some chess, not checkers.
Yeah.
And Blake Baker's like, all right, I'm going to put DJ Pickett in, and I'm going to solo him up because I think Lane Kiffin might try to attack him. And I kind of want that. Because, like you said, the dude's an alien.
He is.
And he can make a play. So, hey, let's try to make Lane react to us instead of us react to them. Let's like dangle a little fruit in front of him. Let's dangle a freshman out there and see what he wants to do. See if he wants to attack him.
It's going to be the matchup. It is the matchup that we can't wait to watch, and it's Lane Kiffin versus Blake Baker.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $22,500 off MSRP on the brand new 2025 Ram 1500 Laramie with $22,500 off MSRP with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
Mornings
Mornings with Brian Haldane is the only live and local talk show in the capital city. Get the news from the newsmakers, along with traffic and weather updates throughout the morning. The conversation starts weekday mornings.
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. The dependable Storage College Football Scoreboard. Dependable Storage. Let us store your stuff. DependableStorage.com.
And we start here with games in progress. The 11 o'clock window just underway. Arkansas took the opening kickoff, went down and got a field goal. Notre Dame is threatening there in Arkansas territory down at the 30-yard line. 3-0 Arkansas just about 5 minutes in. No score, USC and Illinois. They're about halfway through the first quarter at Champaign-Urbana. USC with the opening kickoff. They turn the ball over in Illini territory. Georgia Tech and Wake Forest are scoreless, as are Rutgers in Minnesota. Duke got a field goal on their opening possession to take a 3-0 lead over Syracuse. However, the Orange are down inside the Duke 5-yard line. Again, first start for Ricky Collins. He has come out 5 for 7, but has thrown an early interception. Pitt with a big 9-0 lead on Louisville just 5 minutes into that game. Eli Holstein has thrown a touchdown pass for Pitt. Extra point is good on the touchdown, so now make it 10-0 Pittsburgh 5 minutes in. Kansas and Cincinnati are tied at 7. Jalen Daniels has thrown a touchdown pass for KU early. No score with UCF and Kansas State. South Alabama, an early touchdown. They lead North Texas 7-zip. Bowling Green and Ohio are tied at 7, 5 minutes into that game. Drew Pine for Bowling Green, who has played at a lot of schools.
Yeah, I mean, actually, how many? Actually, I'm gonna look that up. That's
he has thrown an early touchdown pass for the Fighting Eddie Georges at Bowling Green, and that is your college football scoreboard. This is school 4. He spent 3 years at Notre Dame, a year at Arizona State, a year at Mizzou, and now I'm going to say he's finishing at Bowling Green, but I don't know. Maybe he's got 2 years of eligibility left.
Well, there was no junior college in there, so there's no Pavia rule here for Drew Pine.
Okay, here we go. 2020 doesn't count because of COVID.
Right.
2021, he played. He threw the ball 30 times, so I'm guessing that's a redshirt year. And then 22, 23, 24, 25, I guess. When we eventually get...
Yeah, he played in 2 games as a sophomore in 21.
So there's your redshirt year, and it's 4 years. You know, the COVID years are still, as much as it's so far in our rearview mirror, but they are still there's still some guys that are. And listen, when that came up, we were all for it. It's like, look, nobody should have this year count. Okay.
Agreed.
I just didn't think that, 5 years later we'd see guys in year 5 or 6 or, in some cases 7.
It's not looking back going, man, why'd you do that? No, that was still the real decision. That was still the right decision. It's just like we're 5 years removed from this, and Drew Pine's at his 4th school and his 7th year.
It's a transfer portal more than anything.
Yeah,
it's more so than the COVID year. It's the unlimited amount of transfer.
Yeah.
Our LeBears countdown to kickoff just a little over 3 hours now. Let ESPN Bet at LeBears be your game day headquarters. We'll take a break. We'll come back. Long-time Ole Miss writer Neil McCready is with us. He joined Matt earlier this week. That is next here at Rouse's Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed
for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Mornings with Brian Haldane is the only live and local talk show in the capital city. Get the news from the newsmakers, along with traffic and weather updates throughout the morning. The conversation starts weekday mornings at 6 on Talk 107.3.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even JB could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast.
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day, presented by Super Chevy and Yingling. Opposing media.
Neil McCready, Rebels, 24/7. Good enough to join us. Get him on Twitter, X, at Neil McCready. Hey, man, how are you?
Matt, I'm good. How are you?
Doing awesome. So there was all kind of news breaking on Wednesday that Trinidad Chambliss would start, and then Lane Kiffin went on McAfee show and said that was news to him. We expecting Trinidad Chambliss to start Saturday?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, look, Lane is using the word available instead of injury on these reports, and frankly, that's the league's fault. The league calls it availability reports, so he says, here's who's available. Austin Simmons will be available. He will be dressed. He will go through warmups, and in a world where he is needed, he will be available. I think Trinidad Chambliss will start, and I think their plan will be for him to play the overwhelming majority of the game. I think they would like to probably not play Simmons because of his ankle, but he is available to play. So when the people, and there are a few in the media who are saying that Lane is lying on the report. No, he's not. He's available, and he's ready to play. Now, if it was an injury report, I think we would have a different conversation about whether it's ankle or whether it's a hip or whether it's both ankle and hip, which is what I think. But yes, to answer your question, I think it'll be Chambliss, but Simmons will be available, and if he needs to play, he'll play.
So you've covered the sport for a long time, and you've seen Trinidad Chambliss since he showed up on campus. Most of us have only seen him for the last 2 weeks. I'm curious if what you've seen, you think he's ready for the challenge of going against LSU's defense, which will clearly, Neil, be dramatically different than what he's faced the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, sure. It'd be dramatically different than anything he's ever faced. But yeah, I think so. I mean, in terms of like the mental preparation and that kind of thing, yeah, I think he'll be ready. He's a very poised kid. He's very confident, very smart. Yes, he played D2, but if you look at the numbers that he put up at D2, not everybody puts up those numbers at D2. And then in the 2 games he's played at Ole Miss against Arkansas and Tulane, he's been incredibly effective. He has protected the football. He's been very efficient. He has spread the ball around. He can make plays with his feet. He has very good pocket awareness. But yeah, I mean, obviously this is going to be a completely different challenge than the one that he's had before. So when I say he's ready, I'm not saying that he's going to go thrive and be SEC player of the week or anything, but I don't think the moment or the opponent is going to intimidate him.
Neil, is there the statistics through 4 weeks have been very good. I think you should largely expect with the Lane Kiffin offense. As the sample size grows, we'll get more truth in what's real and what isn't. Is there a big question that you still have about the Ole Miss offense?
No. I have questions on defense. I really don't have questions on offense. Okay. Look, Lane is a brilliant offensive coach, and not only that, he's got a staff full of really good coaches, Charlie Weiss Jr. and Joe Judge, and Kind of the list goes on of guys that are really good offensive people. They have won with different kinds of quarterbacks since they've been here. Matt Corral and Jackson Dart were not the same player. Austin Simmons, Trinidad Chambliss are not the same player. This offense has produced. I think they're better up front than they're getting some credit for. I think they've certainly played better as the weeks have gone on. Luke Haas, the Arkansas transfer, is getting healthy. They have some depth at tight end for the first time really all season. It's a very talented receiver core with different kinds of people that can beat you. Lane, as you and I talked about this the other day, Lane's done a phenomenal job with the portal. He has taken the transfer portal and turned Ole Miss into a program that's won 25 of its last 30 games. There aren't many programs in the country that can say that. He's done it by being able to target players in the portal that make sense for his system, get them at the right valuation, and then get them to buy into the culture. And he's been very successful with that on the offensive end. Look, I think this is a good offense. I'm not sure it's a great one yet. We'll find out. I think it's potentially a great one. They haven't played enough good defensive teams for me to say that with any degree of comfort, but I think it's an explosive offense that if you're not disciplined on the defensive side, you can get burned. They have a lot of weapons that they can use and that they do use. It's what Lane does really well, going all the way back to his, Tennessee days, his USC days, certainly his years at Alabama. He utilizes the personnel that he has. He'll adapt his system to the personnel better than a lot of people.
He's on Twitter at Neil McCready, Rebels 24/7. You said you do have questions on defense, so let's flip it over there. Where's the biggest question that needs to be answered?
Well, a year ago, Ole Miss was elite on the defensive front, and they were just incredibly disruptive with, a multitude of players, including 4 that went to the NFL off last year's team, just on the defensive line alone, Matt. This defensive line has some talent. I think Xavier Harris is a terrific player. I think Will Eccles, Prince Well, Iman Mielen. There's some other guys that Cam Franklin. There's some guys that are really talented, but they've not gotten home to the quarterback. I think, have 4 sacks as a team through 4 games, which is not a great number. They have been against running quarterbacks, certainly against Arkansas. And look, Arkansas is pretty good offensively. I know we do this thing in the media where we say a team sucks, and so all of a sudden the whole team sucks and everything sucks. Taylor Green's really talented as a quarterback, and they've got, and in addition to him, they've got a couple of backs, Washington and Braylon Russell, I think is his name, if I recall correctly, that are solid SEC backs. I think LSU's better up front on the offensive line than we in the media give them credit for. So, and Taylor Green was on that night, but still, that was a lot of yardage that they put up, 520 some odd yards of offense. I have some questions about Ole Miss on the back end. I mean, I think there are some potential answers back there, but I do think they could end up being a little susceptible. I'm not sure yet. We're going to see probably here this weekend with facing a quarterback who can make every throw. Taylor Green had some success throwing the football, but Ole Miss was so off balance after the first few drives with Arkansas that it's you don't know whether that game was, an outlier or whether that game was a sign of things to come. I think it was probably more of an outlier just because Taylor was so effective that night with his decision-making. Petrino had a great game plan. They executed it. Their first 5 possessions against Ole Miss was 4 touchdowns and a missed field goal. I mean, they were really efficient offensively. Ole Miss can't allow that to happen again. Now, they didn't against Tulane, and Tulane doesn't have an SEC offensive front. Ole Miss's defense dominated it. I mean, this is going to be, I think for both of these teams, this is going to be the toughest test that each of them has faced so far this season.
The biggest question that I have about this game entirely, Neil, is when it's LSU's rush offense against Ole Miss's rush defense, because statistically, objectively, neither is good when you look statistically. You said you think LSU's offensive line may be better than we're giving it credit for, and that maybe Ole Miss, a little bit of an outlier because of what happened against Arkansas, especially in that first half. So what do we look for with that matchup, which right now statistically is bad on bad?
Yeah, and I don't think either unit will end up being bad, but to this point, LSU's had a very difficult time establishing a running game. I don't think they've done, just statistically, the greatest job of protecting Nussmeier in the pocket. And then Ole Miss defensively, they're not as deep as they were a year ago up front. They're not as explosive as they were a year ago up front. I think the game gets decided here, which is ironic, I should say, Matt, because a year ago, I thought LSU's offensive front was elite, and I thought Ole Miss's defensive front was elite. And a year later, as you would expect with all the attrition, I don't think either is elite, and I think this is where the game is decided.
They're all in the NFL, man. They're all
in the league.
picks.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of dudes. I mean, Will Campbell and Walter Nolan, and I mean, just the list goes on of guys that were legitimate all SEC, all American caliber players that are gone, and it's the one thing, and you and I kind of talked about this on my podcast the other day. It's the one thing that you just don't know in this era of college football, where everyone goes, well, you can just completely replace a roster overnight in a year. I don't know that I believe that. You can replace a lot, and you can minimize how much the fall off is. But when you lose, like Ole Miss did, those 4 defensive linemen from a year ago, and you lose Chris Paul, and you lose Trey Amos, and then you lose some guys that we don't talk about, like Trey Washington played a lot of football at Ole Miss. He was really effective as a safety. Was he an NFL caliber player? I mean, probably not. But, man, he was a really good college player who played a lot of football. And when you lose that many players, I think it takes a minute, maybe a year or longer to replace them. I think Ole Miss is better defensively than maybe some people think they are. I think there's a little too much attention that's being played to that Arkansas game without giving Arkansas's offense the credit that it probably deserves. If you look at Arkansas's overall offensive numbers, they've kind of been effective against everyone. But I think, long-winded answer to your question, I think that's where this game's getting decided.
Last thing for you, Neil McCready's with us, Rebels 24/7. Get him at Neil McCready. Okay, Lane's got a blueprint to win this game. Obviously, both teams would love to win it 50-6, but what's a realistic path that you think Ole Miss would follow to win it?
Yeah, it's going to be protecting the football, which they've been able to do the last couple of games. That was the one thing that really saved them from disaster against Arkansas early when they were trying to figure out how to slow Green down, was they didn't turn the ball over. They scored on their each possession, and they kept that game going sort of like a tennis match. That's one. 2, they absolutely have to get to Nussmeier. It doesn't mean that you roll up a bunch of sack numbers where you sack him 7 or 8 times. I'm sure Ole Miss would love to do that, but they've got to get him off platform. They can't let him get comfortable. He's too good. He can make every throw. I think LSU has some really talented receivers that if this thing gets into a deal where where Nuss gets comfortable in the pocket, I think this ends up being probably a rough day for Ole Miss. If they can disrupt him, typically, and I've covered Lane Kiffin now for 6 years, Matt, typically Lane Kiffin figures something out on offense, and they're going to get theirs. They just about always do, and to the point where I just sort of expect it to happen. Again, I think this game comes down to LSU's offense, especially up front, against Ole Miss's defense. If LSU can establish a running game, get into a rhythm, and protect Nussmeier, I think LSU wins. If they don't, and they can't, I think Ole Miss wins. But I think it's a close game. This series, I went back and looked at it. The last time this series was decided by more than one score was back in 2021, which was, the end for Orgeron, right? I mean, ever since then, it's been home teams winning super close games. And I think this is going to be a really tight game. I think it's kind of coin toss-ish. I think Vegas has it like at 1.5, 2 points. That's a couple points of that are home field. Vegas is baking in. I mean, I've kind of got this as a coin toss, and I think they do too.
It's generally great theater with LSU and Ole Miss. We'll see what the next installment holds. You want to check out Neil, you can. Rebels 24/7. He and I recorded his pod earlier this week. If you want to check it out, it's linked at my Twitter and his, also at Neil McCready. Always appreciate it, man. All the best. Thanks.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man. Good to talk to you.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Children's School.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to dreampoolla.com and you can find out how your $25 donation might help win you a Duplessis pool.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even JB could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of JB Falgout.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Talkin' Tigers. Presented by Lake Urgent Care. Lake Urgent Care. With 14 locations, caring for communities near you and always available at lakeurgentcare.com. Talkin' Tigers. Cornerback Mansour Delane.
Yeah, I don't feel like it's any pressure. That's our job. It's, he calls those pressures. He expects us to cover. So like I said, pass and rush go together. We do our job. The rush is easy. The rush gets back home, the coverage is easy, so just work hand in hand.
Wide receiver, Berrien Brown.
It just starts on Monday in the meeting room, and when we go out there and walk through, and it just carried over each and every day until Saturday. I feel like you win games in practice, so when you go out there Saturday, it can just be fun and flow how you want it to go.
Defensive end, Patrick Payton.
It's great because soon as you get out there and you feel like you're a little winded, you're a little tired, it's somebody coming in and there's no drop off. All us got the ability to be starters in our edge room. We all work for each other, we hype each other up, we gonna cheer for each other, and it's good just knowing when if you need a blow or breather, especially on a game like this, like a tempo, fast offense like Ole Miss, it's gonna be crucial to have depth.
Cornerback Mansour Delane.
Yeah, I really don't think it changes anything. We're gonna prepare the same way, and that's being the best versions of ourselves. Doesn't matter who's on the other side. If we're the best version of ourselves, then it doesn't matter whether it's the running back at quarterback, the fullback at quarterback. It don't matter as long as we execute what we're supposed to do.
Wide receiver, Berrien Brown.
Honestly, man, we just going day by day and, trying to fix the little things. And I'm thankful that we have a defense that can hold their own and uplift us when we need it. So, we're just going day by day. We're not trying to let the outside noise get to us, good or bad. We just stand on our roller coaster, stand on our track, and just practice it.
Defensive end, Patrick Payton.
Both of the guys I feel like are great quarterbacks, especially the one who I think from the start he's fast, he's a running quarterback, so got to be back on that type of, preparing for a guy like that who can make plays with his legs. And just like when we played against Clay Clement, he had that extra skill, so you got to be crucial about it. You can't just let him use his legs because he will change the game if we let him just run.
Cornerback Mansour Delane.
I think it's really just the standard. That's what Coach Raymond say all the time. It's it doesn't matter who we're playing or what it is. What you put on tape is, who you are. So it doesn't matter the level of competition, whatever it is. Every game we have to uphold that standard, for the people that came before us, people that are coming after us. And that's what we do every game.
Wide receiver, Berrien Brown.
Ole Miss, they're a physical team. That's something they always had. Honestly, I'm just ready to play. I ain't got too much to say about them and stuff like that. I know how the media get. So, I'm just ready to play Saturday.
Defensive end, Patrick Payton.
Coach Baker has been preaching since Monday when we had our scouting reports. He's been preaching get home, after every play. Either a good play or a bad play. They get a play, we make a play, get home, get back to your spot, get the call, get lined up, because they're going to go fast and they're not going to wait on you. They snap the ball when they're ready, and if you're not ready, then they'll catch you off guard.
Cornerback Mansour Delane.
I love Death Valley, but I feel like I like road games better. Just I like feeling like the underdog. I like throw trash at us, whatever it is. I just like the feeling of being hungry. And, that's where I feel like we're coming in this game is people say what they want to say, but I feel like we have our chip on our shoulder this game. And every game, we just have something to prove.
Talkin' Tigers. Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
While Louisiana politics can seem like they're from another planet, Moon Griffon isn't afraid to bring politicians back down to earth. Listen to the Moon Griffon Show weekday mornings at 9 on Talk 107.3.
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely on Mountain Cold Refreshment.
Dave's back on.
Coors Light. Choose chill.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $22,500 off MSRP on the brand new 2025 Ram 1500 Laramie with $22,500 off MSRP with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
River Parish Contractors has immediate openings for structural steel shop fabricators. Call or text Big Jake today at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com and click on employment. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team colors, team swag, and now your very own website. LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net. Powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Builders School.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to dreampoolla.com and you can find out how your $25 donation might help win you a Duplessis pool.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. It's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotion.
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Keys to the V. Presented by Coors Light. Coors Light. Mountain Cold Refreshment. Choose chill.
Dixon, who will partner with me on post-game later on this afternoon. Rich, good morning. How are you?
Doing good, man. What's going on with the Notre Dame Arkansas game? I'm at baseball practice.
Well, it's 14-3 Notre Dame, and I can tell you that Arkansas has to score every time they get the ball for the rest of this game. Their first two drives have produced 3 points, and they have maybe a shot to stop Notre Dame once or twice today, but no more than that. So if they don't score, I think probably pretty much every drive the rest of the way, they're going to have a hard time winning this game. So that's the scouting report is holding. Arkansas's defense not very good. But Rich, give us 1 or 2 keys to the V here today for LSU against Ole Miss.
I think that the defense is going to go out there, play fast, play strong. Offense was, we're a third of the way through the season. Let's get the blocking assignments lined up. Let's get the cohesiveness, and I think our offense has to play their best game today.
We know that Caden Durham is unlikely to play in this game. You and I, with the film study and on the Friday show and the postgame show, have been talking a lot about non-traditional running game pieces, and that'll be even more important today. Any particular piece that you like?
I like the counter they've been running with Xavier on promotion into the backfield. It's been a really good play. It's been successful. I like the way Xavier reads the field and his vision. It's a big play for us.
All right, let's get into your specialty. Trey'Dez Green, we think, is going to be back today. He was certainly a big factor in the Clemson game. Rich, what might they do to get him going here today after missing a couple of weeks?
I would keep him detached from the line. I mean, he's a guy that can basically play a wide receiver position. get your one-on-one matchups on the outside. But I'd like to try to keep his legs clean as much as possible.
All right, last thing. Lane Kiffin, you've seen his offenses. Seems like this year maybe a little bit more deliberate. Maybe that's because of the quarterback. I don't know. But when you see this Lane Kiffin offense, what stands out to you?
If they get the run game going, it's scary. It's one of those offenses that, they play off the run, a lot of big plays. I would think that, we stop the run, it puts us in a better situation.
Baseball practice, huh?
Oh yeah, baseball practice and fall. Ridiculous.
Weren't you coaching football practice just a couple of days ago?
Yeah, football is more important right now. I'm sitting in the parking lot in the truck watching.
Have a good day, Rich. Enjoy the game, and we'll see you in postgame.
All right, later.
Let LaBerge, Baton Rouge, let ESPN LaBerge, Baton Rouge be your game day headquarters. We are about 2 hours and 40 minutes away on our LaBerge countdown to kickoff here at Rouse's, where you can get all of your game day stuff. So many people in here, Musso, come in here. They got their LSU gear on. They're probably going home to watch the game, but they got their LSU gear on. There's something basically honest about that. Yeah. You got your gear on, you got your colors on, even if you're going home. But if you want to come here and stock up all of your meats, all of your beer, wine, all of your spirits, the bakery is open today. The Mongolian Grill is open. So lots of different things. Get your Louisiana seafood, hot-boiled seafood here. Lots of desserts. They've got also the lunch bar here. If you want to get a to-go plate, you can get that here at Rouse's Burbank at Lee. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar, but instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit LouisianaPropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized, it'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making.
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Inside the stadium. Presented by Louisiana Federal Land Bank. Louisiana Federal Land Bank. financing all things country.
The Bears count down to kickoff about 2.5 hours, a little over 2.5 hours from now. LSU and Ole Miss on the Hooters hotline from up in Oxford or near Oxford right now is the voice of the Tigers, Chris Blair. Chris, now good afternoon to you. How are you?
I'm doing good. Yeah, we're on that scenic drive, Charlie, from Tupelo to beautiful Oxford. So we're just a few minutes outside of the hamlet of Oxford.
I understand you guys have fantastic weather today for this game.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I think this morning it was in the low 70s. They're expecting maybe topping out around 81 degrees today, and then probably by the time we're done, back into the upper 70s. So just a few clouds, blue skies. It should be a great day for SEC football.
Chris, was this the game a couple years ago? Y'all stopped at a car dealership on the way. I know y'all had a long drive for that game. Was it Ole Miss?
Yeah, you stole my joke, Musso.
Oh, dang, sorry.
We just passed the dealership. We've graduated from that.
Hey, same wavelength there, man.
It could have stopped you. You might have got better financing rates. I mean, they know you now, right, over there.
Absolutely.
Chris, so, over the years, sometimes we've said you can kind of get an idea about a team's mindset by how they travel, how smoothly things go. I don't know if that's the case here today or not, but tell us anything of noteworthy on the trip.
No, I mean, it's, it was something that Coach Kelly and I talked about Thursday night, Charlie, and that is, we can really spot a team. You guys do it. I do it. Anybody can do it. When the team's not ready to go or they have a sluggish start, it's easy to spot. And sometimes we probably don't commend the team enough when pretty much every week they're ready to go. Now, that's obviously defined by different people. But I asked Coach Kelly, I said, do you like the way your team has gotten off to a start in the 4 previous weeks? And he said, yeah. He said, look, I know we went 3 and out last week in the opening drive, but, again, we did end 8 of those drives in touchdowns. And he goes, I don't think it was a lack of being ready to go. And that's what I sensed when you asked me the question about what's it been like. This is the second road trip of the year. I told you going into the Clemson game, it was very businesslike, not a lot of noise. I mean, guys were out this morning at 7:30 doing their stretching. They were out in the parking lot of the Civic Center we stay next to in Tupelo. They were doing their walkthroughs. It's a very professional, mature, business-like approach, and that's what I saw at Clemson, and that's what we saw this morning. And I think that's why you're looking at a very mature team that I think handles any situation. So far, so good.
Chris, we've been talking a lot about the LSU run game. This is one of the matchups today that is a weakness for Ole Miss. They're last in the league in rush defense, but LSU hasn't run it well. They're 15th in the league in rush offense. And then compounding that is we're unlikely to see Caden Durham today. So what are you expecting from the LSU run game today?
Well, again, it's no epiphany on my part, but I think you nailed it. I think that is the matchup and the numbers to watch as this game goes along, really on both sides of the ball. I think it's an opportunity for LSU to improve the run game. I know we're still doubtful that Caden Durham's going to be able to go. We'll wait and see, maybe a game-time decision. I like the way Jawan Johnson looked last week. I think there's going to have to be major improvement on the offensive line, specifically when it comes to, run blocking. And that's been something that's, kind of nagged this team for a couple of years. But you're right. Ole Miss has been very susceptible to the run, and they certainly were, even with all the throws that Arkansas made, they still were able to line up and run the football. So I think there's an opportunity there. And then on the flip side of that, everybody remembers Lane Kiffin and the big pass play and the clipboard going flying into the air and the touchdown signal and all that. None of that happens if Ole Miss doesn't run the ball effectively. In fact, I think they're 4th in the SEC currently at about 216 yards per game on the ground. And Kawan Lacey is the big reason for that. He's averaging just under 5 yards a carry. So, again, LSU's been very good defensively, stopping the run and making offenses one-dimensional. And as good as both Chambliss has been throwing the football and obviously Austin Simmons, I think the fact that they've been able to really lock down on the run game, I think that's where this game is won today. Who stops the run and who has a successful day running.
And this will be, Chris, the best, I think, running quarterback that LSU has seen so far this year. Klubnik was good, but I think that Trinidad Chambliss is better. last year, this was a big problem for the Tigers. We haven't seen them have many of the same problems they had last year on defense. So this is kind of for me, this is kind of the last one. Can you stop a quarterback that can really hurt you with his feet the way Chambliss did last week against Tulane?
You're spot on. I mean, this is by far the biggest test that they're going to face, trying to get over the demons of last year of being basically unable to stop a dual threat quarterback. I would argue that Simmons is probably a little better in that department than Chambliss, although both are very good. I probably would give Chambliss, believe it or not, the advantage when it comes to the deep ball. But yeah, without question, this is, leaving this game today, I think we'll all have a better idea of how they're going to handle the type of quarterbacks they're going to see basically week in and week out as we move through the rest of the schedule, certainly in the SEC. And again, this is an Ole Miss team that likes to run. They spread the field to run the football. The big plays don't happen if they don't have success on the ground, and that could come from Chambliss, and that could come from Lacey. That also could come from some of their wideouts.
Brian Kelly revealed on Thursday night at the coaches show that Gabe Relaford is going to miss the rest of the season. Chris, kind of expound on what he talked about as they go about replacing him. It is one of the deeper positions on the team.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. I mean, it's you hate to see it for Gabe Relaford, who I think played two of his best games, really, from an individual standpoint over the last 2 weeks. I thought he was good against Florida on a couple of big plays, and, of course, we called his name a good bit last week against Southeastern Louisiana. But you're right. I mean, when you're looking at a position group, we saw, obviously, in the Florida game, the linebacker position group is awfully deep and awfully talented. And again, you don't want to see a guy go down, and I certainly hate it for Gabe just simply because I felt like he was coming into his own, and to be taken away for the rest of the season is tough. But that's a place where you're going to see, some guys who have had, have to fill in. I mean, Dylan Carpenter, I thought, made a name for himself, last week late in that game, albeit. Jamari Butler's another guy who on the edge has been very good. But when you're talking about Patrick Payton, Jack Pyburn, and then again just having Jacobin Guillory and Bernard Gooden and Ahmad Bro, I mean that we're going to see all of those not only today, but I suspect for the rest of the season. And if you got to lose a guy and you're going to lose it on a very good defense, I hate to say it, but that's probably the position group you could afford to lose.
Notre Dame's going to score 600 points today.
Just
as an aside, in case you were wondering.
From bad defense in Fayetteville to, again, back to really good defense for LSU. Chris, they've been awesome all year, but, man, in the second half, specifically against Power 4 competition so far, LSU's defense is not allowed a point yet. It may change today. We'll see. It's a really good offense. But coaches normally downplay second half adjustments because it's not a long window. You don't have a lot of time in the locker room. But in all your conversations, being around the team as much as you are, I mean, is there anything you can pick up on as to why that defense has been able to be so dominant, specifically in the second half against these Power 4 teams?
Well, to your point, Musso, I've asked Coach Kelly a number of times about halftime adjustments, and if you guys ever heard him talk about it, I'm sure you have. He doesn't put a lot of stock into it. I mean, he goes to the point that, hey, man, we get in there. By the time I do my halftime interviews, we get in there, the coaches get together, the players are, there's not a whole lot of time to do wholesale adjustments. But what I do think is because this LSU team fundamentally has been so sound. I mean, think of the number of times in all 4 games this year where we've seen a total bust in coverage. Less than one hand, I would imagine, at least in my count. How many missed tackles have we seen through 4 weeks? I mean, truly missed tackles. Again, I think a handful. So I think the reason that they get stronger as the half goes on is there probably are a little bit of adjustments that Coach Baker makes if there's some success that the other team is having in a specific, a specific scheme. But I just think the fact that they are so good fundamentally, they're where they're supposed to be. They team tackle, they swarm the football, and they don't miss a lot of tackles. And when you do that, again, I think it makes it easier for Coach Baker and the staff to go, okay, this is where they're having some wrinkle of success. We've got to change our fit, or we've got to change what we're doing. And it's easier to do when you're not having to fix blown coverages, missed tackles, and the things that we saw really for the last 2 seasons.
I would add that the defensive linemen are playing somewhere between 50 and 65% of the snaps. You got about 8 of them that are doing that rather than 4 or 5 guys playing 85 to 90% of the snaps.
Yeah,
I think you got fresh legs in the fourth quarter, and I think it makes a big difference. Chris, just to hear at the bottom of the hour, we're going to hand it over to you guys on the network. What's coming up on network pregame?
Well, they'll be talking, obviously, doing a deep dive on Ole Miss. We've got a beat reporter that's going to join the guys. They're going to be at the Coshada Casino over there near Lake Charles. So they're on a remote location like you guys today. And then we're visiting with Garrett Runyon, the women's golf coach. A ton of success over the last couple of years, and they come off a really good performance in their first 2 fall matches, one in Charleston and then earlier this week on a beautiful trip I should have went on to Colorado. Again, just getting the guys ready. But the thing that you guys have talked about all season is the reason these guys get fired up, and that's nothing's better than hearing Brandon Taylor fired up about an LSU defense. So that'll probably be 60% of the show coming.
Well, tell me you guys planned it this way to have one of the golf coaches at LSU on a day where Hunt gets to go play golf after he's done with postgame and sticks around tomorrow morning. You guys planned that out, or did it just happen that way?
Well, we talked about how long he was going to extend Jay Johnson's interview last week. I imagine trying to get some pointers from Coach Runyon. This may go extra long.
Well, hopefully it'll be better than the Ryder Cup.
Let's say Hunt needs some good golf in his life right now. He's hurting with that Ryder Cup.
Bad golf for the United States. Chris, have a good call and a safe trip home. We will take next week off, and then we'll be back for LSU South Carolina.
You got it, boys. Enjoy next week.
Thanks a lot, Chris Blair, the voice of the Tigers. Well, here at Rouse's, the Rouse's brand products, the best quality at the best price. They stack up against all the leading national brands that Rouse's sells, but at a lower cost. Most of the Rouse's Markets brands are made right here at home, but Rouse's also travels the world to bring in the best, and they personally taste, try, and guarantee everything in their brand. So if the Rouse's Market name is on the label, you can trust that it's good. Here at Rouse's, we are at the location Burbank and Lee. This is Eagle, 98.1 Game Day.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. The Robinson Brothers Ford Lincoln College Football Scoreboard. Robinson Brothers Ford Lincoln on airline under the giant American flag.
We start up in Fayetteville, where it's been the offensive game that we expected. Number 22 Notre Dame leads Arkansas 21-10. C.J. Carr has thrown a couple of touchdown passes for the Irish. This one I would say conservatively, you're going to need 45 points to win. They've been going up and down the field pretty good. Number 23, Illinois leads number 21, USC, 14-7. That game is early in the second quarter. Leading Jaden Maeva, the leading yards per attempt in the country, the USC quarterback, coming in to today's game. He's 7 for his first 10, but Illinois has been able to score twice here, and they have a 7-point lead, 14-7. Again, about 5 minutes into the second quarter. Rutgers and Minnesota are tied at 14. About 5 minutes to go to the break there. Duke leads Syracuse 17-3. That game is about midway through the second quarter. The Blue Devils caused 2 turnovers in the first quarter. Ricky Collins threw an interception. Syracuse also had a fumble in that first quarter. Pitt leads Louisville 17-7. That's also early in the second quarter. Eli Holstein has thrown a touchdown pass for the Panthers. Cincinnati and Kansas, an entertaining game, 17-13. About 3 minutes to go to the break there. Jalen Daniels has thrown a touchdown pass and 169 yards in the first half for the Jayhawks. Kansas State leads UCF 10-0. A game about 4 minutes to go to halftime there at the Little Apple. Been a rough go for Kansas State. They have opened the season up 1-3. Avery Johnson's got 50 yards on the ground and 60 yards through the air. North Texas leads South Alabama 14-7. Ohio leads Bowling Green 21-10. Underway now in Nashville. Number 18 Vanderbilt trailing. Utah State leads the Commodores 7-6, but the extra point to come. So they may tie. They're going to tie this up. Yep. Okay, extra point is good. 7-7, minute and a half to go in the first quarter there. Diego Pavia with a touchdown pass for the Commodores. And Central Michigan leads Eastern Michigan 7-0, about 5 minutes into that game. Some of the highlights of later action today, 2:30. Number 1 team in the country, Ohio State, goes on the road to play another 3-0 team, the Washington Huskies. It's 2:30. That is on CBS. Also at 2:30, number 9 Texas A&M hosts Auburn. This is the back end of a tough back-to-back for Auburn. Last week against Oklahoma. Okay, we've spent enough time talking about the hideaway play, but they
Auburn doesn't think so.
9 and it was
John Cohen releasing a statement on Thursday, my man, about it.
It was awful. Specifically, the circumstances in the offseason about them emphasizing this. But let's get on the other part of that game that was so important, was that Oklahoma almost set a school record for sacks. They went back and corrected the stat afterwards, so they took them from 10 to 9. But still, they pounded away at Jackson Arnold. But a lot of the emphasis this week has not been on the offensive line's problems, but more so they believe Jackson Arnold is holding the ball too long.
Too long, yeah. I think that's certainly part of it. They also did lose their center in that game a week ago against Oklahoma. I'm not positive on his status for this game against Texas A&M. There's a lot of things that compounded there. But, yeah, I mean, look, Jackson Dart's lack of polish as a passer was a problem for him a year ago at Oklahoma at times. I think this is a really difficult spot for Auburn, because not only is it back-to-back road games, Texas A&M's coming off of a bye.
Yeah.
Like, if Auburn was catching them coming straight off that raucous win against Notre Dame on the road, but A&M's had a week to sit, get back focused, and now back-to-back road trips for Auburn, maybe without their center, and, a quarterback in Jackson Arnold, it hadn't clicked yet for it. Tough spot for Auburn.
Being without your starting center is a big deal in the next game, so we're going to check that during the break. And when I say we, I mean you.
Yeah,
so look that up. Number 11, Indiana is at Iowa. That is a 2:30 game. Indiana coming off one of the biggest wins in program history last week against Illinois. Baylor is at Oklahoma State. This will be the first game since 2004 that Mike Gundy is not going to be the head coach at Oklahoma State. The last time somebody besides Mike Gundy was coaching a game at Oklahoma State, it was Les Miles.
Yes.
You got to go all the way back to 2004. Utah is at West Virginia, also in the 2:30 window. And at 3:15, number 15 Tennessee is at Mississippi State. Interesting spot here for the 4-0 Bulldogs as Tennessee goes on the road for the first true road game. They had a neutral site game. The 6:30 window has got the two big ones tonight. Number 6 Oregon is at number 3 Penn State. Both of these teams are undefeated. Neither of them has played a particularly trying schedule, although Oregon's played some bigger names. Penn State, a 3.5-point choice there. That is on NBC at 6:30 and on ABC at 6:30. Number 5, Georgia hosts number 17, Alabama. And in some circles now, that line has gone down under a field goal. Georgia minus 2.5 some places. 6:45 on the SEC Network. Kentucky is at South Carolina, and that's your scoreboard.
All right, so Auburn center is a go today. Connor Lew. He also will be playing with a sprained MCL.
Ouch. Okay.
So he's playing, but he's definitely hobbled.
Yeah, that's
sprained MCL for an O lineman's pretty insane.
For a center, that's not the. We'll see how compromised he is. All right, we'll take a break, come back and wrap things up here. We are at Rouse's, Burbank and Lee. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Builder School.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to dreampoolla.com and you can find out how your $25 donation might help win you a Duplessis pool.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
River Parish Contractors has immediate openings for structural steel shop fabricators. Call or text Big Jake today at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com and click on employment. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they...
98.1.
This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Our LaBerge countdown to kickoff, about 2 hours and 10 minutes. All right, Musso, your thoughts on today's game?
Yeah, you know, Hanny, I know everyone really looks at this and they want it to be an opportunity for the offense to flex its muscles, show the improvement that it has made and that it's ready to turn the corner. I want to see that too. I'm not sold that all the factors line up for that to happen. Without Caden Durham, that does worry me. He is your proven SEC guy. It worries me in a lot of different areas, from pass protection to him being able to create on his own. Can Juwan Johnson do some of that? Sure, but you heard Moscona talk about it earlier with Caleb Jackson really being your best pass pro running back so far. It's like there's a lot of different elements aside from just running the football. The offensive line Brian Kelly talked about it earlier this week. They're still struggling with communication. Okay, well, this is your second true road game with that unit trying to still play together. Is Oxford Vaught-Hemingway the hardest place to play? No, but it's still an SEC road venue, and that place is going to be charged up for a rivalry game. Those things worry me a little bit here. I think LSU's defense will be fine. I think we see a game pretty similar to what we've seen so far the first 4, where LSU does enough on offense, and their defense is so good that they salt it away. It's why I brought up the second half deal in Power 4 games. I think ultimately, I'm not saying that LSU can't go out there and score 30, right? But I think ultimately the offense will score. They'll make some big plays, but the defense is going to salt this game away like they've done the previous, definitely 3 weeks. Southeastern was Southeastern.
The communication issues on the offensive line have largely been contained to the right side.
Yeah.
We watched in film study. Southeastern ran the same twist stunt on both sides most of the night. Whenever they would stunt, that's what they did. And you could see it. There's back-to-back plays. If you want to go look at it, it's on YouTube on the Handicast Film Study. Richard points this out, that they run these same cross stunts, and the left side passes it off well, and the right side doesn't. So if, I'm always tempted to criticize the offensive line coach, but that's a hard sell when you say, well, he's not teaching the left side, not teaching the right side. So this is a personnel thing now. You just got to get better over there.
Where are you with DJ Chester missing the first half, Hanny? How big of a deal do you think that is? I mean, it's really not a deal until it is, right? But
if Braylon Moore has to exit this game. They talked about
Braden Augustus.
Braden Augustus is the walk-on from the Dunham School. I would not be surprised if if he had to go in, if he struggled at all. If we saw Cohen Eccles go in there, he had taken some snaps in August, and maybe here again today. It's not, like you said, it's not a big deal unless something happens to Braylon Moore. I was not expecting DJ Chester to go into that backup right tackle spot the way he did against Southeastern last week. Now, we'll see how Weston Davis plays today. If he struggles a little bit today, because he has struggled, you've got 2 weeks before your next game. You may want to take a longer look in practice at Carius Kern. I think that's probably on the table. But Chester's suspension, which I hate this rule.
It's awful.
It's a deal. If Braylon Moore, who went out of the Louisiana Tech game on the first play from scrimmage, if something were to happen to him, this would be it would be a really big deal. So. Get well, stay healthy. Stay healthy today. I think that's paramount to LSU's offensive plans today. I can't get my head around the run game because I don't know what the run game is. It's not a traditional run game that has just been able to. We were chuckling during the last segment. Which one of these teams ran toss? Arkansas ran toss lead
out of the eye.
Which you never see anymore. For 10 years, we saw, a dozen times a game. LSU doesn't have that kind of run game. They don't have, we made such a big deal out of the one time they went in the I formation, put a defensive lineman back there as a de facto fullback. Well, we haven't seen that, and I'm not expecting to see very much of that. But I do think that in that non-traditional run game with Xavion Thomas, with maybe an Aaron Anderson on a fly sweep or something like that. All those different things but you can only use them a little bit. You can't just jump in there and hammer with that type of running game. So it falls on Nussmeier then.
You did see them a week ago against Southeastern use the 2 H-backs more.
Two double tights,
and kind of the H-back
wings, really,
wings, which I thought they actually had some success against that. Now, how would it translate against SEC? I mean, I guess we'll see. But if you're not going to go I formation game, which again, as you said, I'm with you. I don't expect that. I don't hate that as the substitution there. I don't. And you get Nuss under center for it as well.
And they have gone under center just a little bit, a little bit more. I'm fine with that. Big picture on this game. The winner of this game will be 5-0 and will be in a position, I believe, unless something drastically changes, that all they will have to do to get to 10 wins is win the games that they are favored in. There's 2 games on each of their schedules that I don't think that they will be favored in, but things could change between now and then. I don't think LSU will be favored at Alabama or Oklahoma. That could change by the time November gets here. And I don't think that Ole Miss will be favored at Georgia or Oklahoma. But I think they're favored you'll be favored in 5 other games. Put another way, if LSU were to win today, win the home games in the Vanderbilt game, and you're at 10. I think 10's enough to get you in the playoffs. So you lose this game, and then your mulligan, one of your mulligans kind of goes away.
Is gone, yeah. And it's big for both teams because, I mean, you mentioned the games like Georgia and Oklahoma for Ole Miss as well. You also, in this game, you get a win that's going to stand up. I believe so.
The only reason I'm hesitating, because I believe it will, is I spent the whole week saying that in Clemson. I wrote it in my open. Everything was there, and it's like, boy, do I look dumb a month later. But I thought I said it. This win will stand up all year, and I was confident when I said it. And now I don't feel,
you're
feel very good about that.
I get that. I just, looking at Ole Miss's schedule, when and where they play teams, I think with the dynamicism this offense has, that they can be 9-3, and 9-3 holds up.
Yeah, 9-3 is a good. 9-3 ends up being a good win,
and that's where I'm thinking along those lines. I'm not saying they're going to go 10-2, 11-1, but
I believe you're right. The only reason I hesitate, like I said, was for the Clemson game. Arkansas, did he get it? Yes. Okay, field goal good. 28-13 now. Notre Dame leads with just a little under 4 minutes to go there in the first half in Fayetteville. And the other game that we're watching closely is Illinois and USC. The Illini have a 7-point lead, and they are driving in USC territory. 14-7 there. There are about 2 minutes to go to the break. Thanks to our friends here at Rouse's for always being great game day hosts. And if you're hosting a game day party, or if you're just getting stuff for the family, come on out to Rouse's and let them cover your game day spread. Everything from the bakery, from the deli, from the chef's collection, the Mongolian grill, all of your beer, all of your wine, all of your spirits here at Rouse's. Tons of ice and all of the fixings that you need for tailgating and for your home parties here at Rouse's. We'll be back 90 minutes after the end of LSU and Ole Miss. Richard Dixon will join me on the post-game show, and we'll take your phone calls. From all of us here at Rouse's and everybody back at the flagship, I'm Charles Hanagriff saying thank you and good afternoon. Enjoy the game. This has been Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
The following is an exclusive presentation of the LSU Sports Radio Network. It's football time in Louisiana. Today, a classic Southeastern Conference rivalry renews. It's the undefeated and 13th-ranked Ole Miss Rebels hosting your 4th-ranked and also unbeaten Fighting Tigers of LSU. It's the annual battle for the Magnolia on a Saturday afternoon from Vaught.